Today on the LA Food Podcast, Santa Barbara, a town so picturesque that upon arrival you'd be forgiven for thinking you'd been incepted into NBC's hit TV show The Good Place starring Kristen Bell and Ted Danson. Despite its pristine appearance, Santa Barbara's food scene has been somewhat slept on over the last few years. Sure, you can't go a mile in LA without coming across some supple Santa Barbara uni or sipping on a crisp white wine from one of the county's many wineries, but while some of its restaurants have found their way onto the Michelin Guide in recent years, it's a scene that's been largely overlooked by the likes of the James Beard Awards and other sources of national attention. Alas, something special is brewing up the 101, and it's not just the coffee at iconic coffee shops like Handlebar and Kahe. My wife and I headed up to the city, often referred to as the American Riviera, for a delicious 72 hours that made a strong case for why Santa Barbara might just be the most exciting food city in California right now. Listen to find out why. Speaking of exciting, in part 2, we've got an interview with the team behind Santa Barbara's buzziest new opening, Dom's Taverna. Dom's is the brainchild of longtime friend of the pod, Dominique Crisp, the oyster master formerly in charge of Echo Park's The Lonely Oyster and the late great Sasso in Pasadena. He teamed up with Raj Nallapothola and beverage director Ben Carey to open a dreamy Basque tavern serving flame-kissed goodies perfectly paired with rare vermouths that's taking the city by storm. I joined the trio at the restaurant for a rambunctious conversation on their journey and what it's been like to bring this concept to the city. It's a conversation that left me super inspired and itching to go back and visit as soon as I can. Quick housekeeping note on this convo: we recorded during prep, so there's definitely a bit of noise in the background on this one, but that's restaurant life, baby. It's raw, it's gritty, it's live, and it's why we love it. On Chef's Kiss Big Miss, the imminent closure of another celebrated Santa Monica restaurant, the unchecked proliferation of convenience sushi, and a Los Angeles reporter who had the stones to upstage my burger journey with an epic burger list of his own. The LA Food Podcast is presented by the Acquired Taste Media Network. Be sure to listen to our sister podcast, Taqueando with Bill Esparza, and please consider leaving all of our shows a rating or review wherever you listen to podcasts. I'm your host, Lucas Servodio, and without further ado, it's time to chat down. The LA Food Podcast is presented by The Lonely Oyster. Unwind at The Lonely Oyster's Echo Park Night Watch. Did you know that every night is industry night at The Lonely Oyster, dear listener? Stroll in after 10 p.m. nightly for a one-of-a-kind experience designed for the night owls and hospitality pros. Indulge in $12 handshake cocktails, expertly crafted liquid chef concoctions, delicious late-night hot bites, and chef's choice dozen oysters. More than just a place to unwind, The Lonely Oyster warmly welcomes industry professionals, providing a space where like-minded individuals can connect, relax, and enjoy the camaraderie that comes with the late-night scene. Whether you're looking to kick back after a long shift or simply enjoy the vibrant atmosphere, late night at The Lonely Oyster is the perfect rendezvous for those who appreciate good company and great food and drinks. Don't miss this nightly affair and let the good times roll at The Lonely Oyster. Welcoming back to the LA Food Podcast, a woman who's quickly becoming an expert on all things vermouth. It's my wife, dear listener. Babe, why the sudden love of Turin's finest liqueur?
It's just good. Do I need a better reason than that? I will say the trip that we're going to talk about today is the trip in which I first had vermouth on the rocks, and that's been a revelation. I've always liked vermouth-based cocktails or cocktails that have vermouth in them.
Like a Negroni?
Like a Negroni, but this was the first time that I had it by itself, and I was like, oh, I could get used to this. I like this a lot.
All right, well, before we get into the aforementioned trip, we're sitting amidst a bunch of boxes because we are in the midst of moving, and I thought that would be a fun icebreaker question for you because, as you know, when one is moving, you know this from first-hand experience given that it's happening to you this week, you can't really cook. You got to do a lot of takeout, right? So
That's true.
My icebreaker question for you, babe, is what is the best takeout option in Los Angeles?
You know, my first thought is actually love to eat. Thai in Hollywood. Thai food is just great takeout.
Yeah.
And they do it well. I also love, if we're talking Thai takeout, also love sticky rice. Also love night market.
Yeah.
But I guess that would probably be up there. But as you know, if you're not with me, I'm going to be going to Rice and Nori and getting me some onigiri and hand rolls. And that to me is incredible takeout. But maybe the MVP as a sushi girl, which I think we've talked about before, even on this podcast, the sugarfish
Takeout solution,
the innovative box situation. I mean, it never gets old. It's always exciting.
But that's really a feat of packaging, not necessarily of the sushi.
Okay, shots fired.
No, I'm asking you.
No, it's very good sushi.
Yeah.
I don't think anyone would be like, well, now I'm sort of inviting it, but does anyone think sugarfish sucks?
I can think of a couple people.
Really?
Yeah.
No. I mean, here's the thing. I'm not like a raw fish connoisseur, but, works for me.
Yeah.
I don't want gross sushi, and it's certainly not gross. It's tasty. It works.
We'll keep the gross sushi theme in mind, because we're going to come back to that, actually, in Chef's Kiss Big Miss.
Awesome.
Look, we are here today to talk about Santa Barbara. You have been on this podcast a few times in recent months for what I've been calling sort of like our summer travel series, but hopefully this isn't just a summer thing. We can keep this going. People have really enjoyed hearing about our travels, especially when you're on, offering your hot takes. Surprise, surprise. And today we're here to talk about Santa Barbara, which is one of our favorite places in the world. Babe, what do you love about Santa Barbara?
I felt like a visceral, response in my gut when you said one of our favorite places, because I was like, no, it's the favorite place. I love it. I love that it's beautiful. You have kind of both a lush sort of landscape, and you also have the water and the beach. You have the fresh kind of sea air. You have great seafood options.
Yeah.
You have, I just find the town to be really charming too. And I love a good wine tasting. So the fact that I can kind of enjoy all of that and go try some fun wines and stuff, that's an ideal day to me.
Yeah, great answer. I mean, I think you really capture the fact that it's natural beauty. It's really, you get there and it feels so different from Los Angeles. Not to mention the drive there from Los Angeles. It's just right on the PCH. You have the ocean to your left for the last 30 minutes of the drive. Absolutely fantastic way to enter the city. And then you get there and it's every street is so picturesque, and you've got this beautiful backdrop of these mountains where the clouds, even on a sunny day, the clouds tend to congregate right at the top of the mountains, and it gives it to me it reminds me of the movie Tarzan. It's just this rainforesty thing. Whenever I see like green mountains and clouds, I just think like Jurassic Park, Tarzan, all these sort of like jungle-based movies. Does that make sense?
No. Santa Barbara, I would not compare to any kind of junglescape, and certainly not Jurassic Park, but, you know, do you? That's what it reminds you of.
I'm just here to say it's the perfect blend of like architectural cuteness and like raw natural beauty. That's all I'm here to say. All right. Well, prior to this trip, I think we would have thought that we had a really good handle on the food scene. Like we thought like, okay, we know the restaurants in Santa Barbara. We know what's good.
Yeah, I came in cocky.
Yeah, we came in cocky, right? Like even in our planning calls, we were like, okay, yeah, we kind of know what's good. We kind of know what we want to highlight. Lo and behold, it turns out we knew extremely little, but let's give a little sort of background of the places that we typically like to go in Santa Barbara. What are some of our favorites?
That's a good question. So our go-tos are BBG on State.
Which is?
Modern Indian food.
Yep, with like natural wines. Yeah. We
love, every once in a while we'll hit up Broad Street, which, you know, is also an LA spot. But I think the first time we had it, it was actually a pop-up at a tasting room in Santa Barbara.
In the Funk Zone, yeah.
Yeah, so I always associate it with Santa Barbara. But anyway, Bettina in Montecito for pizza.
Classic.
And they have great salads, great specials, great, you know, they have a lot of stuff I like beyond pizza.
We always go to Helen Avenue Bakery.
Oh, that's an absolute must. Yeah, we love that. We like Lucky Penny pizza.
Yep, we do love that. We've been to Loquita, the sort of like Spanish tapas place.
Yeah, we like Loquita.
We like Loquita a lot. And then I think another place that we've been to a couple times. We went to this like Lebanese restaurant one time. I think it was called Zaytoun or something like that.
Yeah, that place is awesome too. I really like Zaytoun.
Super beautiful in a courtyard that just feels like you're exiting the United States for a hot minute, and really, really solid Lebanese food. Then I'm trying to think, anything else we usually hit?
Always love to hit up a classic McConnell's.
Yeah. Of course, that's like where the ice cream is from. So yeah. And then we've done sort of like a bit more of the fancier stuff too. Like we went to Sushi by Scratch, the Montecito location. We went to Ama, a sushi spot at the Rosewood Miramar of Rick Caruso fame, which we thoroughly enjoyed. Mm-hmm. And we also hit up the bar there. I think it's like the Library Bar or something.
It's something like that.
And it's an absolutely beautiful room. It is exactly what it sounds like, a bar basically situated in a library. The menus are like these leather-bound books. They have like jazz trios that come and croon to you after you have a dinner. It's a pretty nice place to hang out.
Total vibe.
Total vibe. So for this visit, I want to just quickly thank Visit Santa Barbara and Catalyst PR for showing us the ropes and really expanding our Santa Barbara horizons. As I mentioned, we thought we had a good handle. It turns out we knew extremely little. They managed to recommend restaurants to us to pack into a like quick 48 hours. We hit up like 8 spots that we had never been to before, and they were all extremely awesome. We will get into the details in just a moment. But, it really kind of expanded your horizons, expanded my horizons, not just the actual visit itself, but also the conversations with them, learning about the scene. Like, I feel like even with this visit and all the places we've been before, we've still just scratched the surface of Santa Barbara and the surrounding cities.
Yeah, I was really, really impressed. I thought, well, how many really great spots can Santa Barbara have? It still has a little bit of like a small town vibe.
It's 90,000 people. That's small.
Yeah, it's not big. Little bit of like that college town kind of angle too because of UCSB. But yeah, I thought like, well, we found like a handful of really good restaurants. Like that's probably it. Thank you. Good night.
We did it. And also, I feel like we're always consulting the same guides. It's like the Infatuations Guide to Santa Barbara, Eater's Guide to Santa Barbara, and God bless those publications, but like, those writers don't live in Santa Barbara. Like they live in Los Angeles, so they're taking the occasional trip up the coast. They're not really living and breathing the restaurant scene as much. So it stands to reason that you're going to get the similar places on every list and maybe miss some like hidden gems or things that are, a little bit more nascent, or maybe things that people have slept on a little bit, right? So it makes sense that there was an entire universe out there that we were yet to explore. However, I think the major theme that I sort of want to end this on, once we've like recapped our entire visit, is I left this feeling like Santa Barbara is one of the most underrated dining cities in California.
Interesting. I sort of agree with you, but I would define it slightly differently, which is I think it's one of the most like exciting burgeoning food scenes. Because I think they have a lot of openings happening right now in this year. I feel like there's something kind of in the air there about sort of a growing food scene, a growing kind of food and art scene. There's a lot that I feel like is happening right now where in a couple years you won't be saying that it's underrated anymore. Yeah.
I guess my underrated note comes mostly from like one metric and one metric only. So Santa Barbara has been included on like the Michelin guide in recent times. I think there are even a couple of starred restaurants like Sushi by Scratch has a star, Silver's Omakase, which is actually helmed by Philip Franklin Lee's brother. I'm forgetting his name right now. But that has a star too. They're actually the first brothers to have stars, which is insane. I believe Caruso's, the flagship restaurant at the Rosewood Miramar, also has a star. So by that metric, Santa Barbara is on the map, and there are a lot of Michelin guide restaurants in the city as well. However, I feel like the one place where it's lacking recognition is with food media, and specifically with the James Beard Awards. If you look at the James Beard Awards in recent years, they've given a lot of shine to places like Long Beach, even like Los Alamos and places like that are even smaller than Santa Barbara. However, Santa Barbara has not gotten like any love, not even on the long lists. And I feel like it's time for that to change. Like, there's some really exciting stuff happening. So when we're talking about the most exciting food in America, especially in California, when you're looking at the Best Chef California category, my prediction is that we're going to see some Santa Barbara cropping up there in the coming years. Now, we'll circle back to that prediction and talk about who we might think be a shout for that. But let's get into the trip specifically, okay? So let's start with our lodging. We've had all kinds of lodging experiences in Santa Barbara in the past. We've stayed at Airbnbs, we've stayed at motels, run-of-the-mill motels. Recently, we've been staying at a modern but rather unassuming hotel called La Playa Inn, not far from State Street. But this time we switched it up and we stayed at the Kimpton Canary Hotel right off of State Street in what they call the Arts District. And it's not like the Arts District like we have in LA. It's actually an acronym, ARTS. It stands for something like Arts, Restaurants, Theater, and something else. But it's basically to show you that there's a lot happening in this district. It's not just theaters, because it used to be called the Theater District. It's art, it's restaurants, there's galleries, all kinds of stuff, right? So we stayed at the Kimpton Canary. Babe, how would you describe the Kimpton Canary aesthetically?
I mean, it was cute, it was cozy, but it was also had that kind of like luxe angle. It felt like that kind of like Santa Barbara meets like Mediterranean sort of design aesthetic.
The Spanish colonial revival style, you might say.
Yeah, Spanish colonial revival style. Yeah, absolutely. And it was, charming and had kind of, its own sort of little, I don't know, kind of like a little vintage flair almost, at least in some of the furniture and things like that. It wasn't like really sleek or anything like that. It was very...
Or like super beachy either.
Or super beachy. It was kind of like this very like luxe, but like also very like comfortable and charming, kind of like, just like a healthy dose of Nancy Myers, which I think everybody needs, right?
Like everything in Santa Barbara, when done well, it's like Nancy Myers-esque.
Yes.
Right? But like a tasteful amount of Nancy Myers.
Yes.
Not like Epcot version of Nancy Myers.
Yes.
Like, oh yeah, this feels like it would effortlessly slot into a Nancy Myers film adaptation type thing.
Yeah.
So,
well, I love Nancy Myers. I want to live in a Nancy Myers movie, but I would say what's cool about the Kimpton is I think it has a little bit more personality than that, because that's kind of the one critique about Nancy Myers' kind of aesthetic to me, is that sometimes it feels a little like bleh. Yeah. But this had some personality. There was color. It was a great stay.
Yeah, and the other thing I really liked about it was the rooftop. They've got a rooftop pool, and I didn't know this, but the rooftop is actually the highest rooftop in Santa Barbara. There aren't too many tall buildings in Santa Barbara, so actually when you're up here on the highest rooftop, you get an incredible 360 view, and you can see all the way to the ocean, which obviously is not far, but you got stunning view of the mountains, stunning view of just like downtown Santa Barbara. It's a great place. Now, one of the most interesting tidbits we picked up from our friends at Visit Santa Barbara actually was on the history of Santa Barbara architecture, which I didn't know. Do you remember this?
No.
Well, let me refresh your memory.
Please remind me.
So it turns out that prior to 1925, Santa Barbara architecture was kind of whatever. It was just like a lot of like nondescript, like, kind of boxy looking buildings. But in 1925, 100 years ago, there was an earthquake, which sort of like leveled a lot of stuff, especially downtown. And what ended up happening was, in the rebuild of Santa Barbara, they kind of all agreed, we have this chance to like rebuild Santa Barbara. Let's make it look beautiful and unified. And that's when they sort of started building everything in this like very like distinctive Spanish colonial style with like the white plaster and like the red brick roofs and things like that. And that's why everything in Santa Barbara has this distinct look to it. It was all born from like the 1925 Santa Barbara earthquake. Does that ring a bell?
It does now, yeah. I also wanted to say one thing about the Kimpton Canary.
Okay.
Which was that also the Kimpton Canary is, I believe, a dog-friendly hotel.
Yeah, you love that.
Which I love. But also, I feel like I'm always talking to people who are struggling to find hotels in Santa Barbara with their dog. I don't know why, but I'm definitely going to tell friends of mine about the Kimpton Canary now, because I feel like having a hotel like that you can also take your dog to.
You hear that, dog people listening to the
dog
podcast?
Lovers.
You found your Santa Barbara hotel. Okay, let's dive into it. The many meals we had. Day one, we kicked off with a lunch at Corazon Comedor, a quaint little Mexico City-inspired cafe brought to us by chef Ramon Velasquez, who rose to fame actually by opening the wildly popular Corazon Casina at Santa Barbara Public Market, which is a little bit like Santa Barbara's answer to Grand Central Market. It's newer, it doesn't have like the long history of Grand Central Market, but it's the same idea. It's the
same idea, a little smaller.
Yeah, but very high quality, like food hall, right? Reminder of what we ordered there. We ordered the quesadilla de la Roma with zucchini, corn, and squash blossoms. We ordered a selection of tacos, including their asada, suadero, lengua, and queso birria. And we ordered their enchiladas in mole coloradito. Was this a good first impression to the culinary weekend?
This was an insane first impression. Like, this really set the tone for the weekend, and I think one of the reasons is because we sort of, you know, as people who live in Los Angeles are sort of like, okay, like, we know good Mexican food. Like, I don't, you know, that's cute.
Yeah.
But like, I'm good.
I'm good. I produce Bill Esparza's podcast. I know Mexican food.
I just was like, yeah, Mexican food, okay. Like, it's gonna be like, at best, almost as good as the Mexican food we can get here in LA.
Right.
I was so blown away. I loved this restaurant. I love the vibe.
What was the vibe like?
It was like being in somebody's house, sort of. Like and I think the food was kind of similar. It really felt like you were like at somebody's house and they were cooking for you.
Yeah.
There was like a beautiful gallery wall with like a ton of original art, cool kind of artifacts and furniture that felt very like organic and sort of part of somebody's home.
Yeah.
I loved it. I loved the design, but also the food was incredible too. And I like the setup. I think they recently changed it and made it from like a more sit down, order from your server restaurant to a counter service.
Yeah.
And I love that. I love that now it's counter service because I do feel like it's such a great casual lunch spot.
Yeah. And
to have a Mexican restaurant that's like a casual sit down, but it's homey. It just really hits a lot of boxes for me.
Yeah, it was. I was very impressed. I thought that the obviously they're doing things that you have come to expect at a lot of these like modern Mexican restaurants, right? Like they have like nixtamalized corn tortillas. They're using blue corn tortillas, right? I didn't quite gather whether they're making them in house. I think they may be though, and you know. People will argue whether those are the right tortillas to use for every single type of taco, but I think they worked on everything we ordered personally. Plus, all the flavors were on point, and one way in which I really judge a Mexican establishment, whether it is a truck, whether it is Damian, right? Salsas. Like, I need a good selection of salsas. I need the salsas to really hit, and I need there to be a good level of spice. These salsas they were like just across the board incredible. I think they have like 8 different salsas, all house made, great variety. My favorite one was this like really like thick, almost viscous like habanero salsa. It almost looked like peanut butter, right? Like it had that consistency, not quite as like gooey, but like, you know, it was definitely a thicker salsa. The flavor of habanero was so pronounced in such a beautiful way, but it was also, it had a lot of heat. Like, I think the moment I had it, I was like, babe, do not touch that salsa. Because I know you and your heat threshold.
Yeah.
But I absolutely loved it. So I thought this was a fantastic experience. And, you know, I said it in the moment, but I didn't think this was just Los Angeles good. I thought this was Mexico good, honestly.
Oh, 1,000%.
Yeah.
1,000%. Yeah. I really liked how when we sat down, they brought us chips, right? Not a revolutionary idea by any means, but they had some sort of like refried bean kind of mixture on them. And then I think like some cotija cheese or something like that. But the fact that they were kind of dressed chips as just sort of like that complimentary, I don't even know what you call that, like a bread service. Yeah, like an amuse-bouche. And kind of in place of a bread service, I guess. The fact that they brought that to the table and it wasn't just like plain chips and salsa like you would get at most Mexican restaurants, I loved those. I could have made that my entire meal, honestly.
Yeah, it was basically like, you know, bean nachos in a way.
Yeah. Yep.
So super strong start. Oh, and you know, the thing you said about it feeling like a home restaurant, I just wanted to say, like, there's a reason for that, and it's super intentional. Like, I believe Chef Velasquez, like, developed the recipes with his mom, like, especially the, like, guisos part of the menu, the part of the taco menu. I think those are all, like, you know, the dishes, the stews that he grew up eating. And they just serve them, like, you know, on fancy tortillas at this restaurant. So, yes, the design makes it feel like a home, but the food very much makes it feel like a home because it is literally their, like, home recipes, which is pretty cool.
And I feel like you and I, if we drive more than 60 minutes in a car together, we need to get out and immediately eat Mexican food. I don't know what that is, but that just
I think it's in our it's like in our prenup.
Yeah, it's something weird. Like, it doesn't matter. It's like, it's either Casita del Campo or it's El Coyote or it's Cacao Mexicatessen, like whatever it is. We're like, we need to go Frontera Taqueria. Yeah, we're like, we need Mexican food now. And so this to me was the perfect, you just drove to Santa Barbara, get some lunch kind of vibe. It was just, it really was hitting the spot.
So off to a strong start, we chilled in the hotel for a bit and then headed to an aperitivo bar conveniently named Aperitivo. They make a wide array of spritzes and even offer a small menu of Italian classics like carciofi alla romana. They even make handmade pastas. This was a great place for you to scratch your vermouth itch, right, babe?
Yes. Yeah, I certainly did. This is where it kicked off, I guess, that weekend.
That night. This was our first alcohol of the weekend, too.
I loved this place. I'm really excited to go back. We were eating, I think, every 2 hours over the course of this trip. And so we were here for kind of like a drinks and snacks kind of vibe.
Yeah.
But I could have done a full dinner there. The food looked amazing. We did have the carciofi alla romana, which was really interesting. I think we both expected it to be like hot or grilled or whatever. Fried.
Yeah.
I expected a warm dish, but it was actually chilled with fresh herbs on it.
Yeah.
And that was excellent. So I know they serve pastas and stuff too. The team seemed really cool. I guess they all know each other from working at the Four Seasons in Santa Barbara, and they all kind of reunited and came together to start this place. And yeah, I love Amaros, I love vermouths, I love all of that. So they had a lot of really cool spritzes, and they also were sort of just like, tell us what you like. Do you like it dry? Do you like it sweet? Do you like it herbaceous? We'll make something for you.
Yeah, I'm going to look up the name. I took down the name of like all of our servers that weekend, but I believe the manager's name there was Lindsay?
Lindsay.
Yes.
I think that Lindsay was our server.
Lindsay was our server. I think she's also in a management position. And she really knew her shit. And she basically, like, she asked us what we liked. And I was just like, I like something that's a little drier, a little more herbaceous. And she just whipped something up off the menu to basically meet my requirements. And by the way, this is like a hole-in-the-wall place. Like, it's really not a large restaurant. And they were churning out, we didn't try them, but I saw them leave the kitchen, and the handmade pastas looked pretty fucking legit. They had a rigatone alla norma with house-made pasta, which looked very, very good. And they happened to be opening an Italian restaurant down State Street called Manifattura, which is going to be all, you know, handmade pastas in a larger scale restaurant.
I'm really excited to try that.
Really excited to try that because I feel like that's one thing that's kind of lacking in Santa Barbara is like modern Italian.
Yeah. And when you say hole in the wall, it was a Nancy Meyers hole in the wall.
Yeah, it was a beautiful
breezy,
hole in the wall.
It was gorgeous. It had like, you could feel the sunbeams kind of coming in and lighting up the walls and stuff. Like, it was not a hole in the wall in a derogatory sense. It was like just charming and cute and a smaller space. Yeah.
It was not a dive in the diners, drive-ins, and dives tradition. No, it was a beautiful Nancy Meyers-esque hole in the wall. After that, we made a quick stop at a place that was not on the agenda, Unbearable Ski Lodge.
We're gonna talk about this.
So we had a little bit of time. We had a little bit of time to kill before dinner, and
so funny. Next trip, you're gonna be like, and then we made a detour at Dave and Buster's.
So we love to play games when we're drinking, dear listener, and we were there, you know, having our aperitivo. We had about an hour to kill before our dinner reservation, and across the street there's this like bar that we've been to before. It's called Unbearable Ski Lodge, ski spelt with 2 E's as opposed to an I in the traditional manner.
Also dog friendly.
And it's just this amazing, like, huge bar that has a bunch of games, everything from, like, you know, skee ball to ping pong to Connect Four to Uno.
Jenga.
Yeah. Why do you love playing games while you're drinking so much?
Excuse you. While I'm drinking so much?
No, I mean, like, why do you like playing games so much while you're drinking?
Oh, I thought you were making a statement about me and my drinking. To be very clear, I like to play games sober. I just like to play games. It's just fun. And when you have an hour to kill, why not? I especially like skee ball, so the fact that they had skee ball was really exciting to me. We've been there a couple times before.
Yeah.
But they have cocktails. They're a great bar, great beer list, great, kind of offerings in that sense. But yeah, you're there for the games, and the games are really fun.
The playlist was also on point. They were playing, like, you know, early aughts, like, pop punk, like Adam's Song by Blink-182. I believe Dance Dance by Fall Out Boy made an appearance.
It was definitely like a throwback to my like bat mitzvah attending years. I was like, this definitely feels like it was pulled from one of those playlists.
Yeah,
for sure.
Which, you know, what's more fun than a bat mitzvah?
No,
so.
that is my musical taste.
Yeah. Well, after we'd gotten a couple of games of Connect Four in, we made our way up State Street and then took a right on Victoria. By the way, I should say everything we did this weekend almost was super walkable. Like, we stayed...
Not even almost. I think it literally was...
There was one thing we drove to. I'll get there at the end.
Okay, I
but
don't remember.
For the most part, we were able to walk absolutely everywhere. So our dinner that night was a place that I've been excited to try for a very long time, and that is Dom's Taverna, the Basque restaurant brought to us by Dominique Crisp, formerly of the Lonely Oyster in Echo Park, a gentleman we've actually had on this podcast before. He's teamed up with first-time restaurateur Raj Nallapothola. Apologies if I've butchered that name. It's a super charming space with a lot of lighter woods that feels bright but also warm at the same time, and the menu, as you'd expect from a Basque restaurant, is centered around their Jasper oven and a charcoal grill/oven hybrid imported from Barcelona. Now, this was one of those places where it was so difficult to choose from the menu because everything sounded like something you would want to eat, but as a reminder of what we ordered, we got the jamón ibérico, because you kind of have to.
Yeah.
We got the smoked shell flatbread with sobrasada and hot honey.
That was insane. That was so good.
I will be asking you what your favorite dishes
sorry.
are.
Okay.
No, but you can try.
I'll reel it in.
We got their pulpo a la Victoria. We got both raw and grilled oysters. And for our mains, we got their take on steak frites, which on their menu is called chuleta frites, and their chopino, which comes dotted with some gorgeous squid ink pakiri. Dessert consisted, of course, of their Basque cheesecake, and we washed everything down with cocktails, but perhaps the star of the alcohol show, a gorgeous vermouth known as Laie, which is actually a brand owned and operated by the owner, Raj himself. Babe, you've been holding it in while I've been reading you this because you so badly want to talk about this restaurant because you're excited about it, like I am. First impressions of Dom's.
First of all, it's right across the street from the place we had lunch, the Mexican place. Like, they're facing each other.
Corazon Comedor.
Yep. So that was great. That was convenient, and really cool little street with some gems. I love Dom's Taverna. First of all, Dom's a G. Second of all...
He's the nicest man alive, I think.
He is so nice. He's so nice. He's so cool. He has absolutely no ego. He's just, like, in it for the love of the game, and he's super talented and clearly has really good taste because just every detail of this was, like, so good. Yeah, I mean, obviously the vermouth was exciting for me because I was having a bit of like a vermouth revolution that weekend.
But this was your first time because Raj was nice enough to come around and basically be like, after we'd already ordered our cocktails, basically wanted us to try the vermouth by itself and said, this is how it's served in Barcelona. He just put it over some rocks.
Olive orange.
And you loved it.
It was excellent. In fact, I'm still expecting you to go buy a bottle. You haven't done that yet. But apparently it's sold at K&L Wines in LA. So. And
Highland Park Wines.
Oh, is it at Highland Park Wines too?
I think so.
Cool. All right. Well, that's not far. So best get there and get a bottle.
Chop, yeah.
But yeah, it was excellent. And I think they also used it in a few of their spritzes and things like that. But I loved that. And the menu was amazing. As I said, I think when you read back to me what we ordered, I think maybe the flatbread was my favorite.
Yeah. Me too. I mean, that's the one that, like, lives rent-free in my memory.
So unique.
Yeah.
So different. I mean, you say that, like, what was it? It was like oysters or shellfish or what was on it?
It was mussels, smoked mussels.
Smoked mussels and hot honey?
Yeah.
Like, who does that? It was so good.
On the house-made flatbread, which was, I believe, just flour and yogurt griddled. You know? Like,
it had that kind of, like, part of the pita family,
yeah,
sort of.
Yeah, it was part of the pita family for sure. And, that was probably my favorite dish in hindsight, but in the moment, you are a steak frite girly.
I sure am,
and you died for that chuleta frite.
I love a steak frite. I think every restaurant that I go to that has steak frite available on the menu, like, if it's there, I'm getting it.
Yeah.
The one at Dom's Taverna was so good, and here's why. The steak was served over some grilled onions, and the flavor of the steak was so delicious and beyond what you'd normally get with a steak frites, right? I don't really think you can mess up steak frites, like, unless you overcook the meat or something like that. It's steak, it's fries, everyone's happy, right? This had something else going on. There was some other flavor to it, and I initially thought it was the grilled onions. I was like, oh, is it, like, cooked with the onions? Is it absorbing that onion flavor?
It's like an extra layer of umami almost.
Yes, and I was like, what is this? So I asked our server, who
Noah.
was the coolest kid, Noah. Shout out, Noah. We hope that you have a great year at Stanford. He's going back to school.
Unless Dom has derailed it.
I think they'd happily derail him and keep him at their restaurant because he was also just a great server. He mentioned, no, actually, it's not the grilled onions. They're not cooked with that. It's a demi-glace that's on the steak. And I think we ended up figuring out that one of the things used in the demi-glace was this really special fish sauce that they were telling us about.
So apparently, one thing that's used a lot in, Spain, Basque country, all these places, is a fish sauce that's derived from anchovies. But it's not very sustainable to do that because anchovies are kind of like an overfished fish. And so this restaurant is a restaurant that really cares about sourcing good ingredients and doing it not just for sustainability reasons, but also because it's a way that they're able to pass lower prices off to their consumers. By having these direct relationships with their purveyors, they're able to keep their prices down. So for example, this amazing chuleta frites that would have run us probably $44 in Los Angeles cost us $29 in Santa Barbara.
The menu was noticeably really well priced.
Yeah.
Very fairly priced for the kind of experience they're offering.
Yeah. And as part of that, one thing that they've sourced is this fish sauce, which mimics that anchovy sauce, but it's made from mackerel in like a Midwestern lake or something. It's made in the USA, okay? So they're avoiding tariffs as well, mind you. And basically what it is, it's just this amazing like fish sauce derived from mackerels, which just adds this like awesome like umami kick to dishes. Apparently it's sprinkled like throughout various dishes on the menu, but it certainly brought this chuleta frite to the next level. I actually think the sauce is called garum. It's like an ancient Roman sauce or something like that. But yeah, I mean, just these little touches, these little attentions to detail are things that like you really appreciate throughout the dining experience at Dom's. The other thing about it, it was packed.
Yes, it was packed, and also the other thing that I think of when I'm reflecting on our experience there too is that apparently it's been packed since it opened. It's a hot ticket, so we were lucky to get a table. But also, it feels like it's been open for years.
Yeah.
I've never been to a restaurant that was such a well-oiled machine. At least I'm speaking front of house. I don't know what's happening in the kitchen, but everything tasted great.
It's an open kitchen, and it looks like everybody's having fun.
That's a good point, actually. We were sat at the front of the restaurant, but I that was another thing that I loved is they positioned their hostess stand like kind of close to the kitchen in the back of the restaurant.
Yeah.
So you really are invited to kind of come in and walk through the restaurant, see what's going on in order to check in, which I thought was like a really interesting and cool detail.
Yeah.
But front of house was just so on point, so smooth. You would think they've been doing this forever.
Yeah. Well, we have a whole ass interview with the Dom's Taverna guys coming up after this segment. So I think we can put a pin in Dom's for now. So let's get to the next morning. After this insane first day of eating, we had an even perhaps more insane day planned. It started with a gorgeous pastry-driven breakfast at Alessia Patisserie. Now, this is a pastry shop that I think Emily in Paris herself would be proud of. It's very, like, French.
And Instagrammable.
Yeah, it is.
She'd love it.
But, however, it's way more than just the Instagrammable. Like, yes, the pastries are beautiful, but, you know, we're coming from a pretty pastry-obsessed city at this moment in time, Los Angeles. Like, you know, talk about, like, Petit Clan Boulangerie or Fonderie or Santa Canela. There are so many amazing pastry shops in Los Angeles right now. This had a high bar to reach in order to impress us. Now, what we got was a dipped croissant that was chocolate and raspberry, another dipped croissant which was pistachio, a regular croissant. We got a guava cheese Danish of sorts, and then there was also this like little fruit muffin thing of sorts.
I feel like there was something savory too. Wasn't there like a tomato cheese or something?
It was like a spinach. Yeah, something like that. Savory Danish for sure. Yeah. So that was our pastry spread. You also got a quiche, and I had to get the perfunctory avocado toast.
Right.
Yeah, because, you know, after you've had an insane day of eating, you think that's going to somehow fix you. Thoughts as someone who has a high bar for pastries on Alessia?
I love that you think I have a high bar for pastries.
That's true.
I think I actually have an exceptionally low bar in that I will, if it's a pastry, I'll eat it.
But you say that, but you've eaten a lot of them?
That's true.
So you actually have a wide range of comparison.
I have hot takes. I have opinions. That's true. But don't get me wrong. You could hand me like a you know, Ralph's donut and I'd go to town.
And that's why we love her. The high-low of it.
Yep. So these were stunning. They're the kind of pastries that you almost don't want to eat because they're so beautiful.
Yeah.
Everything there, you walk in, they have kind of like the glass case with just like, I don't think they had petit fours, but it was things like that. Like delicate little like torts and tarts and
glossy chocolate cakes.
Yeah, things covered in ganache, and you know, it was just beautiful.
And it was matched by the decor of the place, which were like these. It felt like a place where you could go for like high tea, you know?
Well, you can go for high tea.
Oh, can you?
Yes.
Oh, I missed that detail.
Yes, no, you can go for high tea. That's something that they've scheduled now, or it's something that they do there now, but I think you have to schedule it privately. It's not available for walk-in service. But it definitely has that, like, you want to, like, have your bridal shower there kind of vibe.
I would have my bachelor party there, honestly. But I'm just that kind of guy. So, great start to the day with those pastries. Lunch on day 2 was a restaurant I've been stoked to try for a really long time. I feel like anytime you go out and dine in Santa Barbara and you're asking your server for recommendations, they always recommend this place. It's Secret Bao. This place started as a pop-up by Chef Peter Lee, who is himself, by the way, a Robuchon alum. He eventually parlayed the success of that pop-up into a sleek, beautiful brick and mortar that makes for the perfect lunch spot, in my opinion. So, okay, here's a rundown of what we ordered. We ordered a yuzu hand roll.
That was the special.
That was the special, but we couldn't say no to a yuzu crab hand roll.
Of course not.
A KFC bao, which I think is one of their, like, signature items. Their char siu pork bun. We ordered a bulgogi short ribs bento plate of sorts, and a beautiful seasonal cucumber salad. We finished it all off with a mango sticky rice bingsu. Babe, I feel like this is, of all the places we went, probably the one that had the most hype attached because we've heard it recommended by so many people. Did this live up to the hype?
Absolutely. And we've heard this from so many people. That was probably the one place that I think we were like, yeah, like we haven't been yet, but it feels like we should have already gone.
There was like a we get it aspect.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And when I'm talking about the people that have recommended it, I mean, it's usually chefs and people who kind of really have tried a lot of food, at least in the area, if not in the country.
Yeah.
So, you know, you trust what they're saying. They have a lot to kind of compare it to, and everyone says Secret Bao is lights out, and I thought it was incredible. I also really appreciated that this was another place with counter service. There's something about Santa Barbara that just feels really kind of breezy and relaxed and casual to me. So I don't really want to go to a sit-down lunch spot.
No.
I want to be able to kind of just roll in and roll out and keep it easy breezy.
Yeah.
And so the fact that this was structured like that was another plus for me. It had that like really accessible, casual feeling, but the food was of like insane quality.
Yeah.
Really, really good.
I know I'm probably insane for this, but my favorite dish was the cucumber salad. Like,
It was special.
It was really special. Like, first of all, they swap it out like almost weekly from what I understand. Basically, it's just whatever is hot at the farmer's market. Like, this time it had tomatoes, of course. It had pluots. I believe it had another fruit as well that's very seasonal, a stone fruit. It's obviously dressed with a super light, delicate, slightly, sesame oil coated dressing. And it was just beautiful. Like, I could have just eaten nothing but that salad for lunch.
Yeah, it wasn't like your average cucumber salad.
No, it wasn't a throwaway. It was like a centerpiece, and that's why I liked it so much. I mean, obviously, the bao was outstanding.
I think my favorite was the hand roll, which feels like maybe I shouldn't say that on the podcast because it was a special. I don't know if people go back if they can still get it, but
I think it's just a testament to the fact that the specials are gonna slap.
Yeah, add it to the menu.
Yeah.
And I also love the bento box. That was delicious.
Oh, what a wonderful way to eat. Kimchi made in house. They serve it warm, which I appreciate too, because like you get a lot of like cold, ice cold, frigid kimchi when you go out to places. This was served warm, which I liked. You make your own little like lettuce wraps with the short ribs. Beautiful way to eat.
It was incredible. I think also it's called secret bao, right? So I feel like you go and you'd be like, oh, I have to order bao. But the other things on the menu were so good that it was not, like the name is a name, but like order whatever you want because everything was incredible.
Yeah, like the gentleman behind us got these noodle dishes that looked epic. I think they were like, Chongqing style, like Sichuan spice noodles, that kind of thing. Absolutely beautiful looking. Next time we're getting the nudes. So Secret Bao lived up to the hype, would go again. I think we can both agree on that.
Would order the mango sticky rice bingsu every single time.
Amazing. Like that was ice cream over shaved ice with sticky rice and mango. I love sticky rice. That's one of my favorite desserts.
It was so good. And I think they used McConnell's mango sorbet on it too. It was just so good. Yeah. I've had a lot of like mango sticky rice ice cream flavors in the last couple of years. I feel like that's kind of been popping up.
Like Wanderlust.
They never quite hit.
Yeah.
And this really hit the mango sticky rice craving.
Well, yeah, because when things are mango sticky rice flavored, it doesn't hit. You can't like make something mango sticky rice flavored.
Well, you can't. It's difficult to make things rice flavored.
Yeah.
So I think one of my issues is that like whenever you order it, if there's not rice in the ice cream, if you do not have like the glutinous, like sticky rice chewiness in the ice cream, then I'm out. Like then that's not mango sticky rice ice cream. You're giving me some mango something ice cream.
Yeah.
That's my issue. This truly was a amazing sort of different expression of that dessert.
It was incredible. All right, pre-dinner, because you always got to do a pre-dinner activity on these trips. If you learn anything from us, dear listener, it's that. We headed for a cocktail at the Good Line. It's located right at the foot of the Granada Theater, which, by the way, is the tallest building in Santa Barbara, in case you were interested. It's considered one of the city's most ambitious cocktail destinations, not the Granada Theater, but the Good Line. I think we can sum this up in my recollection as a tale of two Negronis, because you really liked the coffee Negroni, and I really liked the cucumber white Negroni.
To be fair, I loved both of them.
Yeah.
But if I could have blacked out drinking 300 coffee Negronis that night because they were so good.
You also would have been awake for a while, I think.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know what would have happened first, passing out or having like caffeine overdose.
I love the cucumber one because a white Negroni is a very delicate drink, and adding that little twist of cucumber to it to like add that sort of like, vegetal minerality, it was very refreshing, as well as like being a drink that takes the edge off. I think of like a white Negroni as taking the edge off. This was refreshing and edge off taking.
And the cucumber flavor was really pronounced too.
Yeah.
I think that's a pretty delicate flavor. So to have that actually really come through and not just feel like you're basically just getting a white Negroni with like a cucumber slice in it, it actually was giving cucumber, which also is exciting.
Super exciting. And it was also super sweet because like the bartender, I forgot his name. Actually, did I write it down? Let me see.
Look it up.
Ethan. Okay. The bartender was named Ethan, and we happened to be there like his last week of working there.
And he has worked there for 10 years.
Like a month short of 10 years or something.
Yeah.
And he's moving to Santa Barbara or San Diego, and I think he's already moved at this point. But it was really like special to be there for like his last service, you know.
Also, that I think speaks to the quality of the place. How many bartenders do you know or mixologists that are like, I'll spend 10 years at this spot?
Yeah.
Like that's a real testament to the place itself, I think, or the management there or whatever.
Yeah. And they're constantly trying new cocktails. In fact, I think they've got like an entire cocktail Bible of like all of the cocktails that have been on the menu through the years.
Oh, that was really cool.
Yeah.
It was huge. It looked like a reserved wine list,
Yeah.
but it was just all different kinds of cocktails that they've made.
And you can order from it. It's not like just for the bartenders.
Well, because I think the way their menu was set up, I don't know if you have it up and you can tell me if this is right or wrong, but I think there's like a section of it that rotates out every week.
Yeah, that's right. Specials, yeah.
Yeah, and when we say specials, it's not like one special cocktail. It was like 5 or 6
Yeah,
that
it's like
are
an
like
entire
weekly.
menu.
Yeah, that they switch out, and then they have their mainstays. Yeah, I think the coffee Negroni was a mainstay.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah.
I think the cucumber was a special.
Yeah.
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 But you'll still be able to order it because it's just going to get added to that Bible, dear listener. Okay. After getting a little lubricated at the good line, we bounced next door for pre-dinner bites at a restaurant I've wanted to try for a really long time, Sama Sama. It's a broadly Southeast Asian restaurant that's got a cult following among both locals and frequent travelers. For example, friend of the pod, Forking Around, has been harassing me, like borderline, like take
really?
legal action, harassing me to go visit them for years now. It's one of his favorite restaurants. So they're famous for, among other things, their chicken wings. And we ordered both varieties, their signature wings with a tamarind soy barbecue sauce of sorts, and a more Vietnamese-inspired variety. Well, first of all, actually, before you even get to what you prefer, were they good wings?
They were amazing wings.
So what makes for a good wing? Let's like, what are your wing bona fides? I'm gonna go get myself another hard seltzer.
Okay. Was that a pun?
No, not even.
Wing bona fides? That's a weird question.
Like, what are your expectations of a good wing? Like, what distinguishes a good wing from a bad wing for you?
These might not be the right answers. I'm still new to eating meat, so don't come for me. Like, if it has like really tough skin, or is like really kind of like fatty, grizzly, yeah, that sort of thing. Not enough meat on the bone.
Yeah.
If we're talking like a deep fried situation, if the fry coating slips off.
Oh, that's horrible.
Hate that. That's kind of what's coming to mind. And I would say most important, I think, is how it's dressed or seasoned, or like what you're doing with it flavor-wise.
Now, what about the debate between drums and flats? Do you have a preference?
Okay, I know that at Sama Sama, they only do flats.
I mouthed that for her.
I knew they only did one. I couldn't remember which one it was, but that's the one that I like. So thanks, Sama Sama.
You're welcome. I just stage mobbed you.
No, I thanked Sama Sama for doing that. I did not thank you.
Well, maybe you should have. They only serve flats, which are widely considered to be the elite chicken wing. I think the drumlets are ones that people look down on, but the flats are what people consider to be the gold standard. And you know, we decided to go half and half. We ordered half order of their classic tamarind soy barbecue sauce and the other with the Vietnamese. Did you have a preference between those two?
In all honesty, I don't know that I had a strong preference either way, because they were both excellent. Yeah. And I'm not saying that to kind of like be a kiss ass. Like, they really were both very good. And I think that if I went back, I would order the exact same way and I'd do half and half again.
I wouldn't. I would go classic all day.
Really?
Maybe just because they're a little more unique. Like, the Vietnamese is a really good rendition of classic Vietnamese flavors, right? Like, I just feel like I can get those. Like, we literally had Golden Deli takeout last night, and I experienced those flavors. But for that tamarind soy glaze, it's so unique and not something that I typically have on chicken wings. I would just want like 10 of those with a beer and good night, nurse.
Yeah. I mean, I think that we've been hearing about Sama Sama for a while. I love that we're like, yeah, we know all the good places in Santa Barbara. And then we're like, yeah, everyone's told us to go there and we haven't.
Yeah. We've been like, hey.
But we have heard of Sama Sama. And I think it's like across the street from BBG, right?
It's right across the street from BBG.
I think that might have in the past been the problem, is that we love BBG, so we just always go there, and there hasn't been a reason to hit up Sama Sama when we're like on our way to BBG.
Yeah.
But anyway, I will absolutely be back to Sama Sama. I actually thought, so I would absolutely go for a full dinner because the food was incredible. There were no misses.
Well, we ordered 2 other things, which we should say. The bok choy shaved salad with duck, which you really liked,
Loved.
and the like shrimp chips with sauces.
Oh, those were incredible too. Yeah. So amazing. I would totally have a full dinner there, but I also loved this spot for what we did, which was we sat at the bar, we got drinks, and we got these snacks. And I thought it worked really, really well for that. If you're doing like a first date or, you know, you're meeting up with somebody for drinks, such a vibe. I would love going there for that sort of occasion. I thought it was great for that.
Yeah, well, and speaking of drinks, like a very impressive bar program once again.
I mean, really blew me away. I don't know that anyone has mentioned that to us who's talked about Sama Sama.
Yeah.
But the bar program was really impressive.
So the bartender there is named Alana, and apparently she's just like very well respected in the community, the like
super cool
bartending community up there, the mixology community, I should say. And what we ordered one which was called the pickled martini, which was basically just a regular gin martini but spiced up with a little bit of Indonesian pickle juice, pickle brine, which fun touch to add.
It was okay. I ordered that. Can I talk about it?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay. So good. That and the coffee Negroni are probably fighting for my top spot of cocktails of the weekend.
Favorite cocks of the weekend?
I'm rolling my eyes. So the pickled martini, I think when I ordered it, I wasn't sure I was gonna like it because I was just assuming when you hear that it's like dill pickle, that
Yeah.
I was gonna get, you know, a dill pickle flavored martini, and I was like, yeah, all right, okay, I guess I can do that. But it didn't taste like that at all.
Well, I'd like to correct history for a moment.
Okay.
I ordered the pickled martini.
Oh, correct, actually. Yes. But
You ordered something else,
I
yeah.
very quickly adopted the pickled martini. I think that's what happened.
I think you took it hostage, is what I would say.
No, what happened was that I was like, do I want that? And then I thought, it sounds like it's probably like a dill pickle flavor. Like, I don't know that I want that. Maybe I'll get a margarita. So I got a margarita. It was good, but the second that I tried your pickled martini, I was like, just kidding. I'll be taking that.
Yes, and you took my drink hostage and gave me yours as something I didn't agree to.
To be fair, it was also very good.
Very good, very good. But I think that the star of the evening, as far as cocktails go, was actually the drink that came after. So Alana talked us through the beauties and the multitudes of this Eastern European liquor known as rakia. And it's basically, she described it to us as like Bosnian moonshine, essentially. And she's been playing around with making cocktails out of rakia. And one of the ones that was highly recommended was a rakia cocktail with calamansis grown from Alana's own backyard. And that one, I think, was one of, come on, that was one of the best ones of the night.
That was just so cool, and to know they were grown in her backyard. And I mean, we owe Alana big time because she gave us like a full masterclass on mixology, and we didn't know we were supposed to refrigerate vermouth. We found that out. Pro tip.
Not to mention, like, we'll be in the process very soon of restocking an entire bar situation at our new place.
Yep.
And you got a lot of tips on that.
Oh yeah, I was asking like, what do we use? What do we get? Like, what's a must? You know. She also showed me a really cool, and I have to get this too. Like, it was a sea salt gin.
Oh yeah,
I think it was from Italy. It was incredible. It was so cool. So Alana knows her stuff. If you see her there,
you're in good hands.
don't be afraid to talk to her and strike up a conversation because you can learn a lot. She was awesome. Amazing.
So Sama Sama, highly recommend. For dinner, we actually decided to keep things a little chill. We hopped back to the hotel and dined at their restaurant, Finch and Fork. The chef has recently joined there from Texas, and he's obsessed with showcasing the best finds from the Santa Barbara Farmers Market, which happens right outside of the hotel, actually. So it's a really convenient place for him to actually like make relationships with the vendors there. And we've been to the Santa Barbara Farmers Market, and it's amazing. Like, it's on Santa Monica Farmers Market level. Like, it's really, really impressive.
It's reminiscent of that. Yeah, it looks like the Santa Monica Farmers Market a bit, too.
So we had some really nice focaccia, a great take on mushroom don don noodles, which the chef has recently introduced to the menu. We had some clams and curry broth, and a plate of house-made tagliatelle in a braised meat sauce. What struck you about this final dinner we had in Santa Barbara?
Okay, so one of the things that struck me about this meal is that I love a braised meat pasta. Like, again, if it's on the menu, we're getting it.
Yeah, it's like steak frite, braised meat pasta, and like steak tartare. Those are the things you always make us order?
Make us. I would say so. I have some standbys, some favorites, and certainly any kind of creamy dessert. If there's like a pudding, panna cotta.
If there's a fucking rice pudding or
game over.
Flan, good night.
Everybody go home. Yep. So I was struck by the fact that I assumed when we ordered this braised meat pasta, I don't remember the meat. Was it beef?
I think it was beef, yeah.
Okay, braised beef pasta. That we would be getting some sort of a ragu. What came was actually more like a stroganoff.
Yeah, like a goulash.
Was it like a goulash?
I'm not sure.
I don't think so. I think goulash is something totally different.
Yeah, goulash I think is a little bit more tomato forward, like paprika and stuff like that.
I'll just take your word for it.
Stroganoff is the right word. Let's stick with stroganoff.
I know stroganoff because I know that it was one of the lean cuisine meals that I enjoyed most as a child. When both my parents were working full-time and every dinner was lean cuisine, I really enjoyed the stroganoff variety.
Wow. Sorry, nobody was there to call CPS.
No, hey, listen, like, that's where I got my food pedigree. I'm grateful for it. But hey, the stroganoff, incredible. They did call it this braised meat pasta, but I think it's important to note that it was different than we expected because it was so unique. I ended up enjoying it, I think, more than if a ragu had come out because you don't really get like a white beef pasta.
No, not too much.
And you get a lot of kind of the red sauce, braised meat, Sunday sauce thing a lot. Yeah. And this was like a little bit of a different take on that idea. And so that stood out to me as like, oh, this is unique and different. And I also I think my favorite was probably the mushroom don don noodles.
Yeah, you loved that dish. It was definitely not a traditional don don noodle dish. It didn't have like any peanuttiness to it, so to speak. But, the mushrooms were super fresh. Again, you can tell that there's a fanaticism when it comes to sourcing the ingredients, and I really appreciated that. I think my favorite dish were the clams and curry broth.
That was really good too.
Yeah, just because it was, first of all, seafood in Santa Barbara, you just kind of can't go wrong. The clams were cooked to absolute perfection, but also the curry broth itself was really pungent and funky in like a really fun way that just kept you going back. So I like that. I think what I was most impressed with is just how much the staff cared. Like everybody there cared so much, from the general manager to our server to our busser. Like they were just also passionate about what they were doing. And you don't really see that too much at hotel restaurants, especially like corporate hotel restaurants.
No, it was a really cool hotel restaurant. And also their bar, their like hotel lobby bar is so cool too. Like I would just go back to get a drink at that bar because it was, very inviting. Really, really cool.
Yeah.
I would definitely get the mushroom don don noodles, I think they do this too, as a room service order.
Oh, that would be clutch.
That would be a clutch room service order.
Yeah.
As a room service junkie, like eating that in like a hotel bathrobe, like while watching some like bad TV.
I thought you were going to say bathrobe, but I was like, babe, just have it on the couch.
No, that's not how I prefer to eat my don don noodles.
Yeah. Next time you'll eat your don don noodles, I'll order the clams to the room. They'll maybe splatter a little on the bed sheets.
I was going to say, that's not a good room service order.
No, but it would be delicious.
I love that I'm laughing at you saying that I would eat them in the bathroom, and I'm like, absolutely not. It would obviously be in the bed. But that is how I would most enjoy them, I think.
All right, so that ends our second day. Our final morning, we still managed to hit 2 places. We wanted to try Santa Barbara's hottest bagel place. You know that I'm in my bagel era, dear listener. I love bagels. In fact, I argued with Father Saul last week about whether Courage Bagel is technically a bagel. He argued that it isn't, FYI.
Really?
Yeah, so this...
He's wrong.
He is wrong. He's an idiot.
He's just wrong.
It's called Mother Dough, this place in Santa Barbara. And how would you describe it, like the aesthetic?
Cute. It had almost to me like it felt like a little like Victorian era house.
Well, it was in a little Victorian era house.
Okay, let me finish.
Oh.
A little Victorian era house that had been like sort of converted and had a bit of that sort of repurposed Nancy Meyers feel, right? I know we have to like drink every time we say Nancy Meyers for this episode, I feel like.
That would be the Watch What Happens live word.
Yeah, if you're driving, don't participate in the game. Yeah, so it had, again, I think some like, you know, beautiful old tables that they had the like sugar and stirs and cups on and things like that. It just felt very homey.
Yeah.
And really sweet. And it was poppin'. Apparently, It was also, we went like the best time to go, as in you don't have to wait in a super long line. I forget when we went.
We went on a weekday early in the morning.
Okay, yeah. So apparently that's a good time to go, and it was still really busy.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's almost like if Nancy Meyers designed a, like, if she had designed Stars Hollow. You know, from Gilmore Girls fame.
It was like a Stars Hollow meets like, you know, the Holiday sort of spot. Yeah.
It feels like the kind of place where like you get to know the bartender and fall in love, you know, or barista, I should say. But
not you.
Not me, obviously. I'm married. But if you're a single lady and like Jack Black is the barista, that's the spot. That's what I'm talking about.
Glad I was there to watch.
To stop me from falling in love with Jack Black. The bagels themselves, okay, so I would call them pretty standard bagels. Like, you know, if you're comparing them to a place in LA, I'd say they're very much in like the Maury's or Bell's family of bagels.
I'd agree with that.
Which would make Father Saul very happy because he was saying that he'd rather go to Maury's than Courage Bagels. But where Mother Dough really distinguishes itself is in the toppings and flavor combinations. They have a lot of funky combinations. Like, for example, I got a yuzu salmon open-faced bagel. They've got gochujang cream cheese. They've got tobiko cream cheese.
I think they're most famous for their furikake bagel.
I was going to say, that's their signature item.
Yeah.
So, and it looks pretty good. Did you try it?
I bought one, and it's in our freezer.
Oh, great. So you will be trying it
That's
soon.
my favorite thing to do. If we find, like, a great bagel place, every time I go to Courage, I get a bunch of bagels. I ask them to slice them and don't toast them, and then I just put them in the freezer, and then I
go to town
at my leisure. Yeah. So I have a furikake bagel in the freezer, but what did I get? Because I liked it.
I think you got, like, an open face with butter.
No.
Oh, no, you got cream cheese.
Oh, no. You know what I got?
What?
Okay. This, I think, actually was a good test of the quality of the bagel, and it totally stood up. I got a sea salt bagel toasted, and they served it with, or this was what I chose, was homemade honey butter.
Yeah.
And it was
lavender?
So good.
Was lavender involved?
It was not.
Okay, sorry.
No lavender involved. But
no lavender was harmed in the making of this bagel.
No lavender was harmed. Yeah, it was really good.
Yeah.
It was really, really good. I liked that a lot.
So Mother Dough, we would recommend. I'm not too familiar with the other bagel offerings in Santa Barbara, but I would suspect that this is probably as good as it gets. So
these were also like sourdough, like they're like fermented dough bagels or something.
Yeah, it doesn't. I'll be honest, that doesn't really come across. Like there's not a pronounced flavor of sourdough in there. They just taste like, well done, simple bagels. So don't go there expecting courage. Don't go there expecting like a crazy sourdough experience. You're really there for a classically well done bagel with funky toppings, I would say.
Yeah.
That's Mother Dough, but we ended with a picturesque brunch at a brand new spot called Gracie's. This is the only spot we couldn't walk to because it was at the marina.
That's right. Okay, it's all coming back to me now.
We had to drive there. It was in the marina, a space that formerly housed the Breakwater restaurant, which apparently had been there forever. It was taken over by the proprietors of some well-loved spots in the city that are known as the Shop and Rodeo Room. And it's a super vibrant place with an expansive patio, a slightly moodier Art Deco interior. And fun fact, Adam Levine was at their friends and family, so you kind of get a vibe for how cool it is. Did you realize how plugged in Adam Levine was to the Santa Barbara restaurant scene?
I mean, I feel like everyone with loads and loads of money has a house in Santa Barbara.
Yeah.
It feels like just like if you want to be rich, that's like a prerequisite.
Yeah.
And he, I know, has a home there and did some sort of like little like impromptu concert album release
Well,
thing.
yeah, it turns out the Maroon 5 are still making music, which was, like, huge news to me.
Shots fired.
Well, no, just, like, genuinely surprised. But apparently, new album coming out, so he did an impromptu live show at Validation Ales in the Funk Zone.
Yeah.
That, like, awesome brewery that's in the Funk Zone. And he was just, like, setting up shop there one day, about to do a show, and, like, Santa Barbara social media just, like blew up, being like, everybody get to Validation, Adam Levine is about to play. So yeah, apparently he's like a thing in Santa Barbara, and was at the Friends and Family for Gracie's, and you could kind of tell when you were there that this is a cool spot. It's like a cool
I thought you
spot.
were gonna say you can kind of tell that Adam Levine would go there, and I was like, can you? I don't know that's oddly specific. No, it was definitely a really cool spot, and taking advantage of what is kind of just why people go to Santa Barbara. The stunning harbor and the ocean and the views and the weather, and it has all that going for it, plus some pretty good food and what looks like a really cool bar menu too.
Yeah, food-wise, we had a ceviche. We had, there was a steak frite, of course, so that was ordered. Obviously. We had some surprisingly good fish tacos on some pretty translucent flour tortillas. I was very impressed. And an Italianish eggs Benedict, which substituted focaccia in for English muffins, and mortadella, fried mortadella, in for Canadian bacon. So, yeah, just some sort of, like, fun twists on, like,
cool
brunch
takes,
classics.
Cool takes on brunch classics, for sure.
Yeah, you're not really going there necessarily to have, like, your mind blown from a culinary perspective. I think you're just going there to get, like, quality food that's updated in interesting ways in a gorgeous setting with rather good drinks and great decor. And honestly, I'm not mad at that.
I feel like it'd be a great spot for groups too.
Yeah.
Like if you had a group, you could all sit out on the patio. I don't know what they are open for dinner, right?
Yeah, I believe they're open for dinner as well.
I don't know what the dinner menu is like because we did brunch, but brunch feels like the move there. Brunch or lunch, because, with the setting and everything, you want to be able to take it all in.
Do you know what it actually reminds me of?
What?
It reminds me of a place they would have brunch, a big group brunch on Southern Charm.
Okay.
Could you see that? Like the harbor and
stuff?
stuff?
Yeah, like the harbor and stuff. Like, yeah, Santa Barbara, seaside town, has some... Yeah, okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'm like, wow, I've just indoctrinated you into the Bravo universe too hard.
No, I'm so Bravo, dude.
I know.
I'm so Bravo pilled. Okay, look.
I feel like a big group boozy brunch or celebratory, like a birthday brunch or something there would be so fun. I also really want to check out Rodeo Room. We have not been there before, and we were talking to the owners about it, and it sounded really, really cool.
Yeah, I think one of the big takeaways from this trip is, like, there's so much more to try. There's Rodeo Room, but there's also Rozzie's Pizza, which
is new.
And Gracie's has, like, a small part ownership in, basically, and it looks amazing. It's like New York style pizza, but in Santa Barbara. So just a lot of exciting stuff and never enough time. So, closing thoughts on Santa Barbara, babe. I started this saying I think that this is an underrated dining destination. And, based on all that we've recounted between this trip and our past trips, I think there's no reason why some of these restaurants, and I'm thinking specifically about Dom's Taverna, I'm thinking about BBG, I'm thinking about Sama Sama, like, why couldn't they be making a push for a James Beard Award down the line?
Oh, absolutely. They should. And not just, the bar program, too, at a lot of these places is really incredible. So there's a lot of opportunity for these to get some awards love, I think. I don't know why they haven't.
Yeah. So Santa Barbara, underrated? Properly rated?
Well, I think obviously underrated in that we were like, we've been there, we've seen it, we've done it, and then we had our minds blown a little bit with a bunch of spots we'd never been to that now I will absolutely go back to. The only downside really is that now when we go to Santa Barbara, we have like decisions to make.
But it's kind of a nice place to be in because it's like we have so many options. We can really tap into what are we feeling,
Yeah.
It's like some places you go to, like God bless Los Alamos, right? But you best be feeling like a French tasting
food,
menu because like there's nothing else except for bells for dinner, right? Or like, God bless you, but like you best be feeling like Bob's Well-Bred for lunch because that's like the only option, right?
Yeah.
So Santa Barbara is great because there's so many more options. You can really tap into like what you're feeling, and I'll be like, okay, Secret Bout sounds amazing today for lunch, or Corazon Comodoro sounds great for dinner, right? Or Dom's Taverna, by the way, they also do lunch Dom forced a smash burger down my throat, and it was absolutely incredible. He makes this like saffron aioli. Anyway, that's
you were actually really upset about it because you said I could have said no. He asked me for my consent, and I could have said no, and instead, against my better judgment, I said yes, and then you finished it.
I was so pissed. It was after Mother Dough and before Gracie's. I went to Dom's to interview the team, and Dom, knowing that I'm doing this burger crawl, was like, hey, I make a smash burger, you want to try it? And I could have said no in that moment, but I was like, fine, I'll just take a couple bites. He made it for me, and it was so damn good that I finished the entire thing at the bar in like under 30 seconds. It was one of those situations where I was like, let's just finish it now, cut my losses, and try to forget about it as quickly as possible, you know?
Yeah.
She's like, I've never had that.
I've never had that happen.
Final question for you before we move on to Chef's Kiss Big Miss. What was your top bite of the weekend?
It's hard because everything was so good. I think I might have to go with the smoked mussel flatbread at Dom's, just because I've never had anything like that before. And there was some food that really blew me away, but they were kind of just doing an incredible job at flavors I already know. But this was something totally different, yet totally suited the menu and the restaurant and the vibes.
Yeah.
And it really kind of like opened my mind, like, oh wow, I wonder if you could like put these kind of flavors together like on a crostini, or do like a, you know, like it was something new to me. So that was really fun.
Yeah, I was gonna say that too. So to be different, I'll say the cucumber salad from Secret Bao, and we haven't even really sang that many praises about it, but the quesadilla de la Roma at Corazon Comedor, with beautiful like blue corn tortilla with the squash blossoms inside. You know, I'm a squash blossom fiend, so anytime we can find a good application of them, I am over the moon, and I was over the moon for that one.
We also did not give the bok choy duck salad a lot of love
at Sama
from Sama Sama, so just like honorable mention, because I didn't expect to like that as much as I did.
Yeah, did you like that more than the wings?
I would like DoorDash that like as lunch, like on a weekly basis.
A little bit of rice, that's a meal.
Oh yeah, it honestly felt more like a grain bowl kind of situation. It was like it wasn't like a salad, it was like a very hearty sort of salad. Yeah, no, I loved that.
So Santa Barbara would go again?
I mean, would go again. We will go again. Hopefully sooner rather than later. It was, I just like the cherry on top of a place that we already love going was realizing that there's way more incredible food out there than we'd initially thought.
And by the way, dear listener, if all of this sounds super overwhelming and you don't know where to begin in planning your Santa Barbara trip, head to santabarbaraca.com. That's visit Santa Barbara's website, and they've got all the resources you need there. Anyways, babe, Santa Barbara, successful trip in the books. Are you down for a quick round of Chef's Kiss Big Miss?
Sure am.
I'm going to start you off with an easy one, okay, babe?
Okay.
Eater's Rebecca Rowland reports that Jeremy Fox's Birdie G's in Santa Monica will close on December 31st after 6.5 years, citing pandemic struggles, staffing shortages, local fires, declining tourism, and city-related parking issues that made operations unsustainable. Despite strong acclaim and beloved dishes like matzo ball soup and rose petal pie, the restaurant couldn't recover post-COVID, marking the second Rustic Canyon family closure this year after Casilla. Babe, this is an easy one, but the closure of Birdie G's, Chef's Kiss or Big Miss?
Oh my god, how cruel would I have to be to say Chef's Kiss on them closing?
That's why I said it's an easy one.
It's a super easy one. Yeah, I mean, I love this restaurant. I've had amazing experiences at this restaurant. Absolutely a Big Miss. Really sad. Definitely a loss for the West Side.
Yeah, West Side. Come on, guys. You guys have basically nothing, okay?
Wow.
So, I mean, come on. Like, you guys really need every single good restaurant you can get. How are we letting places like Birdie G's close?
No, I mean, we live on the East Side, and that is a place that we commute for. So I think that says something. To drive in rush hour traffic to a restaurant across town means something.
Yeah.
No, I mean, the only kind of silver lining that I can put on all of it is that, you know, they were open for, 5 years?
The math is eluding me because the piece that I read from Rebecca Rowland said 6.5.
Okay, so regardless whether it's 5 or 6.5 or something around there, that's a pretty good run for an LA restaurant. Doesn't always sound like it, but restaurants have such a short lifespan now.
Yeah.
But regardless, I'm really hoping that Birdie G's can maybe find another home, maybe with that's set up for accessibility for customers, easier parking, all that kind of stuff, because it's a great concept and it's a great restaurant.
One of the best burgers I've had all year, too. I think Chef Fox, if you're listening, which I know you're not, but if you are, and if anybody on your team is, what if you did a Birdie Burger location, okay? Just the burger, the fries, maybe the rose petal pie, maybe the mushrooms, the fried mushrooms as a starter, you know? There are some bangers on that menu, which I think in the right location could be huge money makers. It's unfortunate. I feel like, you know, I think Chef Fox said this in his post, but like, they were expecting that area, the Bergamot Station area, to be something else. They expected it to like become this incredible development that would draw a bunch of tourism and foot traffic and would get incredible parking. And it just never materialized because of COVID. So, I mean, COVID being one of the reasons. I'm sure there were others. But the fact that you were sort of sold this dream and then it didn't really come to fruition, it breaks my heart, because like Birdie G's in a different spot is a restaurant I think could have lasted a lot longer.
Yeah, I think you're right about that. It's really sad. Big loss, but hopefully new life for that idea in the future.
We love it. We love you, Birdie G's. We got plenty of time to go back before December 31st, and we will be making our pilgrimages, so be ready for that. All right, moving on. The New York Times' Julia Moskin wrote a long-form piece on how sushi went from being a delicacy to being a convenience food. Once considered rare and exotic, sushi has exploded into mainstream American dining, with the pandemic accelerating demand for convenient grab-and-go options from supermarkets, stadiums, schools, and big box stores. Now a $2.8 billion retail business and the fastest growing segment in U.S. seafood, sushi has gone from niche delicacy to everyday staple, though some chefs worry that creative Americanized roles risk obscuring its traditional roots. Babe, sushi as convenience food, chef's kiss or big miss?
Chef's kiss in that I would love to get sushi in an easier, cheaper way. I love sushi.
Yeah, it's your
and
favorite.
It's my favorite. I'd love to be able to like just run into, you know, a quick spot and grab some sushi and, you know, eat it on my way to somewhere else or whatever. I'd love to be able to do that, and it doesn't really feel like that option exists a lot. The closest thing I can think of is like Japanese grocery stores or Asian grocery stores that you can sometimes get that.
You can get some really good ones there.
That's what I'm saying. Is like if it was that version, if we could kind of make that more
widespread.
Yes.
As opposed to like the Erewhon version.
Right. I don't need Erewhon sushi. I don't think anybody needs Erewhon sushi. not saying that it's, you know, it's poor quality or anything, but I just think that you can get like really incredible authentic sushi, but if we could get it at a lower cost and in a more portable fashion, or just have it be more accessible, I'd be all about that. But I hear the point about not wanting it to be Americanized. I think that's kind of maybe the point is, you know, can you maintain that authenticity? And if you can, and also make it accessible to more people in a casual format, I would be so down for that.
I'm kind of in the boat of sushi hasn't been authentic in America for like 30 years, you know? It's that I'm like, I think that ship has sailed. I think like as long as people still go to the classic omakase restaurants and whatnot, or the classic Japanese restaurants, like it's just getting to the point where it's an entirely different category, you know, like the convenience sushi versus the like Japanese sushi.
Yeah, but also isn't Japan known for kind of their convenience store delicacies, like how good the food is at convenience stores in Japan? I haven't been. I'd love to go. You should take me. But I think that there's like the katsu sandwiches you can get there.
Yeah.
I always see like really cool videos of people doing sort of tours of the convenience stores in Japan, and I don't know that I've seen sushi, but I would assume you could get sushi in those spots.
I would assume so too. But yeah, I mean, I feel like that's. I think
is
they're
that
also
inauthentic then?
No. I think they're just talking about like to get a mango avocado roll at Kroger, like.
Oh yeah, no, that's a hard no.
Well, it's a hard no for you, but I feel like that's the reality of sushi for a lot of Americans,
Yeah, but I'm doing the chef's kiss because you asked me.
That is fair, and I'll go fuck myself. Okay, moving on to the next one. The LA Times' Jen Harris reports that chef Nancy Silverton and TV host Phil Rosenthal are opening Max and Helen's, a new diner in Larchmont Village this fall, inspired by Rosenthal's parents and their shared love of classic Americana comfort food. The menu will feature elevated diner staples like patty melts, milkshakes made with thrifty ice cream, pancakes, hot dogs, matzo ball soup, and pies, blending Silverton's culinary precision with Rosenthal's vision of creating a community hub that celebrates nostalgia and quality ingredients. Babe, Nancy and Phil-inspired diner in Larchmont, chef's kiss or big miss?
Chef's kiss in that I will absolutely give it a try, and it sounds good. The one thought that I had when saying that is quality ingredients and thrifty ice cream. Now, I love thrifty ice cream, but I would not call it quality ice cream. I know, like, if you go to Rite Aid and you flip over the thrifty ice cream and look at the ingredients, it's a little scary. It's not, I wouldn't call it a quality ingredient.
It looks like a science project.
Yeah, it's a lot of crap. But I love it.
Yeah.
So maybe that's kind of a little bit just of a novelty on the menu thing.
It's high-low.
Yeah, I would say it's one of those things where, like, that's not really my cuisine necessarily, is like the Americana comfort food stuff. But I can always get down with a hot turkey sandwich. So maybe if they put one of those on the menu.
They just might. I'm excited to try this. I feel like it's always fun when people who like talk about restaurants a lot or go and review restaurants. Not that Phil really reviews restaurants. He's more so going and showcasing them on his Somebody Feed Phil show. But it's always fun when they try to open their own restaurant. Now, Phil has invested in a bunch of restaurants in the past, and I'm speaking about him like I know him on a personal level. I do not.
My good friend Phil.
My good friend Phil. I know he's invested, for example, in Osteria Mosa and like a lot of Nancy Silverton properties. So he's not like a complete novice at this, right? But like, I do think it's the first time he's really putting his name on something in a big way, or at least his parents' name in a big way. And I'm interested to see how it goes,
Well, that's a cool angle too, is that it's his parents, or it's kind of rooted in, like, it sounds like a personal kind of background and story. So I'd be really excited to go there and see things on the menu that maybe are not things that I'm that familiar with, but maybe were like mainstays of like what he had growing up. I always think that kind of thing is really cool.
You like the story.
I do. I love a good story. I love the storytelling aspect.
She's a storyteller, dear listener. All right, last one. After eating hundreds of burgers over 15 years, SF Gates' Farley Elliott compiled a list of LA's 52 best burgers. It's a labor of love meant to celebrate the city's diversity of styles and inspire Angelinos to seek out new favorites. It's a great list from a dude who clearly knows his shit, but my question for you, babe, is Farley's audacity to come for me during my burger year a chef's kiss or a big miss?
I was gonna say, is this question just like a vehicle for you to like say what you want to say? What was the question? I mean, so stupid. I don't. Whatever. I'm not even gonna dignify that one with an answer. I'll read his list though.
Do you think that it's okay for someone to take my burger?
To come for you?
Yeah, to take my burger oxygen. It's my year of the burger.
Yeah, the thing is, I don't think he knows you or that
Farley?
you're doing that.
I don't know that. I mean, he's been on this podcast, so I hope he knows me. But because
I don't think. But is he that aware of your burger countdown?
he might not be. Fair play to him.
Little self-important. Yeah.
Yeah, but that's
Okay.
kind of my vibe.
Yeah,
Self-important.
it really is.
So yeah, I mean, I don't really know what else to be if not self-important.
Sure.
Look, I'll say this. Farley, your list is pretty damn good. I hate to say, I will be consulting it to make sure that my list doesn't have any blind spots. So actually, I'm going to give it a chef's kiss because I'm grateful that it exists. So Farley, kudos to you. And actually, I got to say this. You know this about me, babe, but I'm not really a burger guy.
Yeah, you've been dreading the burger countdown for years.
I don't even think I like burgers. I'm gonna be honest. Like, yes, I have an appreciation for burgers in a theoretical sense, and I feel like I've developed a palate for them, especially over the last 7 to 9 months. However, Farley does it for the love of the game, you know? Like, he's
a real burger guy.
He's a burger head. Like,
yeah.
Like burgers are to him what pizza is to me, you know? So if you want the passion list, go read Farley's list. Like,
that's a good take. You're kind of doing like the burger social experiment a little bit.
I'm doing the burger scientific classification experiment, you know? Yeah. He's doing the burger love project.
Yeah.
So, which honestly I think has more value than mine. So, chef's kiss, Farley. God damn you, but I will put your list in the show notes. Babe, you've been fantastic today as always. We're going to be right back with the team from Dom's Taverna for what I can only describe as a pretty rambunctious interview. We only had one microphone, and it captured literally all of the audio in the entire restaurant, which is a very busy restaurant. So let's just put it this way. It's going to be a fun one. Before we get there, any shitty Yelp reviews for me?
Your hair looks pretty bad right now. You're working with this new mullet haircut, which I actually don't hate, but I think it needs a little bit more love than you're giving it.
Okay, my shitty Yelp review is for you.
Oh, great.
Who greenlit this haircut and then decided you didn't like it.
No, I like it. Like I said, I like it, but I think that you gotta muss it up. You gotta do some stuff with it. You can't just let it. There you go. Yeah.
Already looking better?
It's already looking better, yeah. You can't just get it cut and then be like, it looks good all the time. That's not how hair works.
I wish that's how hair worked.
It's not.
All right. Shitty up review goes to my hair. All right, babe. Thank you as always. You've been amazing. We'll be right back after the break with the lads from Dom's Taverna. Dear listener, I made a deal with my wife. She let me start a food podcast and eat ungodly amounts of noodles, pizza, sandwiches, and more under 2 conditions. One is that I never utter her name. The other is that I find ways to be healthy outside of my work in food. Being the fantastic partner I am, I found a few ways to up my health game. I exercise almost every day, I try to sneak in salads for lunch whenever I can, and I only ever snack on healthy foods. The macadamia nut has become an essential part of my daily routine with the best omega-6 to 3 ratios in the nut game, 8 times better than pistachios and 20 times better than cashews. At houseofmacadamias.com, they've got a bunch of different macadamia products that you can enjoy, like savory and sweet snack packs and chocolate-covered snack bars. One of the problems with macadamias I've found is that they can be expensive, but I'm solving this for you, dear listener, because as of today, all you've got to do is head to houseofmacadamias.com and use code LAFOOD to get a 10% discount on a healthy snack that also happens to be delicious. So what are you waiting for? Head to www.houseofmacadamias.com/discount/LAFood and go nuts. All right. Who do we have the pleasure of speaking with today?
Hi, my name is Benjamin Carey. I'm the beverage director at Dom's Taverna.
Dominique Crisp, chef owner, Dom's Taverna.
Raj Nallapothola, owner, guy who gets kicked around, does whatever it takes.
Guys, it's such a pleasure to be here with you today. It's kind of funny. Dom and I were texting yesterday, and we realized that it was almost exactly a year ago that Dom was on the podcast last. Can you believe it?
It is felt, like you said, like 8 years ago, but man, it's gone by, for me, quite quickly.
Yeah, it has been gone by. Well, so you've already all said your titles, right? So then this is perfect, because the icebreaker question today for all of you is a little bit different. Let's start with you, Ben.
Yeah.
If you had to 86 one liquor from all bars everywhere for the rest of eternity, what would it be?
Oh my gosh. That's a really hard question. Any flavored vodka, I guess, just because they're dangerously easy to drink, and it would be doing myself a favor if they weren't around. And they're just, they're processed, and there's too much sugar and all that stuff, but I'm not prude when it comes to drinking. Drink whatever you want, but that would be my pick.
Too much shock tart vodka for this one.
Yeah, too much loopy. That was what I was drinking back in the day. But
That's a good answer.
Yeah,
it's a good answer.
Thanks.
Dom, how about you? If you had to 86 one type of seafood from your menu for the rest of eternity, what would it be?
Oh my god, I thought it was gonna be a liquor question, so I was all locked and loaded for that. Oh, seafood. That's really difficult because I love all seafood, but I think I could get rid of. Let's go with shrimp, like as in like head-on shrimp, because it's just like to clean them properly, and to get them out to guests. It just seems like the never-ending saga of like training and cleaning poop. So I'm just like. I would love to just do that, and like if everyone forgot about it and they're like they didn't miss it.
Yeah.
But, I mean, they're delicious. Don't get me wrong. But it's just more of like it's a labor of love. Let me tell you.
Yes, and labor being the key word there.
Yeah.
Raj, as the owner, you know, the guy behind the operation, your icebreaker question is: if you had to 86 one piece of red tape from opening up a restaurant, what would it be?
Wow. Okay. My goodness. There are so many places I could go with that, but I'd say regulations in construction would probably be the thing that's on top of my mind. If we could get some better definitions, I'm very much about discreetly defining things before you jump into them. So I'd get rid of some of the variability. I know that's not a specific answer, but there are so many things that we could cut out from these regulations to help entrepreneurs open faster, and that's where I'd go.
That's good. I like the generality of the answer. Well, hey, this is an audio medium entirely today. So for the benefit of our listener, can you describe where we are holding this conversation? Maybe you can do it, Tom.
Yeah, I mean, we're sitting at we call it the Rat Pack booth in the back of the restaurant that's right next to the dish pit door. That's a little cozy corner that it's been such a focus for Raj and I because our builder, Sam Schick, who did all the woodwork, like put so much love into this little corner booth. It's got a bunch of like white oak paneling, beautiful seats designed by Zlata, and coloration, and you get to see the entire restaurant, including parts of the kitchen. And it's just it's a phenomenal little spot that is just special. And like I feel like everyone who eats here at this booth has kind of a better dynamic experience than even just the regular guests because of the way it's positioned.
Well, hey, I can't speak to it. I've eaten here once now, and I did not sit at this booth, but I still had a fucking great experience.
Hell yeah.
Well, hey, obviously we're in Santa Barbara today. This is an entire Santa Barbara episode of the LA Food Podcast. Is this everyone here's first time doing a restaurant in Santa Barbara?
Yes. This is my first time here in general. I lived in Oregon, and that's where I met Dom. And we've known each other for a long time, so I took a one-way plane ticket down here a few weeks ago to open the restaurant, and I'm just getting accustomed to Santa Barbara, but it's I mean, in a good way. That sounded mean, but it's beautiful. And yeah, my first time in Santa Barbara and opening this restaurant, so it's been great.
Dom, you too, right?
Yeah. I moved here in January to execute, 3 days after the fires.
Wow.
In LA, which was bittersweet move for me. You know, family we still own a house in LA that we're renting, and you know, Raj and I and the other partners, we really made a huge push to come out here, have me be boots on the ground and project manage this restaurant. And I actually was doing the SBA project management and managing contractors for the last 8 months.
Wow.
So I was wearing a completely different hat than I've ever worn before. I mean, I've opened up a restaurant before and did construction, but this was a wild time for me, and my family absolutely adores it. I got a 3-year-old, and he doesn't know how good he's got it. And my wife loves it just because it's, you know, walkable and extremely safe, and we live a block away from the bowl, so we're constantly hearing and going to shows. And yeah, I'm very grateful because this has been a dream for me to move out here for 9 years since I came out here, and you just never know until you manifest as hard as you possibly can. And I'm very fortunate to have the people around me to give me the means to get out here.
So why the Santa Barbara dream? Was it just because it's picturesque and it feels like the good place? Or
Raj and I did look at other locations and places that we thought could work, but it's just the market. Like, the market's begging for this type of thing. There's a lot of legacy restaurants here, or just restaurants in general, that aren't really doing anything that different from what they've been doing for 20 years in the sense. They've refitted, maybe reorganized, or even done some cosmetic, uplifting, but it's they're still just cranking you know, doing their thing, that there's nothing new and challenging for the community, in the sense of like what we're doing here is very much challenging them, like not having like a buttery Chardonnay on our menu and having something like a aligoté, or like also just having like stuff coming out of the grill like slightly singed, or using hard to pronounce ingredients, but also like using Basque words to describe our menu.
I was gonna say like the chuleta and fries. The people where I live, like, is that an X?
Yeah,
exactly. How do I even
Right.
say that?
Yeah. And we're having fun with it, but really, I mean, I'll pass it to Raj too, only because we had a really insane like draw to this location, and we the story of us getting it's quite wild, and we're all very lucky, but also like we seize opportunity, this group and what we do together. So it's very important that you know, everyone knows that that's what we had our sights set on this, and sights set on like coming out here to create a great community restaurant, and we absolutely have done it. So,
and you're not just talking about like Santa Barbara, you're talking about this specific location that we're seated in, right?
This specific location, yeah. What was the question again? No, we're talking about why
Santa Barbara?
Why Santa Barbara? So my wife and I have been coming out here for 16 years since I moved from Vancouver, Canada, and she introduced me to the area, and I just kind of fell in love with it straight up. It's not hard to fall in love with the place, being the American Riviera and how beautiful it is out here. But I mean, the food out here has really been the draw, the food and the wine from the get-go. And I think as a first-time restaurateur, and this is the first time I've ever done anything like this. I come from a health tech world and a very, very boring background, which I won't get into. But you know, this was an act of passion for me, because I've always been following the scene out here. I mean, Jeff Olson, who sadly passed away a few years ago, was one of my mentors. He ran Industrial Eats, and you know, incredible restaurant, still continues to this date. But you know, this was a very soulful thing for my wife and I to do, because this is where we built our relationship and made, you know, friends with the Carharts and Jeff and his wife, and you know, all the folks around here. And it just felt like a microcosm of what happens in LA, concentrated but surrounded by absolute beauty, availability of ingredients, and just, you know, the ability to just get stuff so fast and so beautifully. And I think for both Dom and I, it was like we couldn't help but looking at this and drawing parallels to Basque country and Catalonia and places that we really love. And from the geography onwards, I mean, the parallels just keep going on. So it was a big target for us to get out here, but I didn't think it would actually come to pass. Yeah. Because it's really hard to do stuff like this out here in small communities that are kind of been closed off for a long time. So, yeah.
How did you find this location? It used to be a Mexican restaurant, if I'm not mistaken.
It started out 40 years ago being Pascual's. A gentleman named Pascual Gamboa started this restaurant, and it was a raucous place where you'd get fishbowl margaritas, and he'd ride his horse through the place and that sort of thing.
Ride his horse through here?
Yeah. During Fiesta, he like rode his horse through it.
Yeah.
We might reenact it.
I hope no health code inspectors are listening right now.
I don't know if they have the bandwidth.
Yeah. No, it was Pasquale's for 20 years, and then it became an Italian restaurant. The barman from Pasquale's took it over and opened his dream restaurant. Giovanni opened up Trattoria Vittoria and named it after his granddaughter. And so this has been kind of a central part of the community for 40 years, and being a gathering place for everybody. So it was, you know, important for us to look at that and say, we want that. But it was, I think I'll give credit to Oliver Fries, our wonderful realtor partner, you know.
This
he
guy,
helped us look.
He's from Santa Barbara, our realtor. He's a young guy. He's like, you know, our age, a little younger than Raj.
Yeah.
Just had his first kid. He's got another kid on the way. Awesome guy. I got connected with him through this hilarious other realtor that I met over the counter at Blue Plate Oysterette. This like super raucous guy named Sean, who like is a big character. And they were helping us on some original deal making before we got this place. But Oliver was just waxing this whole community, trying to find something for us, because we had some stuff fall through pretty heavily. Full transparency, we were actually looking at the old Metropolis location in the Funk Zone.
That was like a sandwich shop /
it's really beautiful. Like we would have had options for patio. The owners are amazing people. We had a great relationship with them, but like we kind of dodged a bullet there, because I think there was an HOA involved, and also they didn't have a liquor license. And when this thing came up, if I could just be transparent, it was a 2-part deal of the purchase of the business that included the liquor license as well as the real estate for Raj and his
My brother.
his brother Vishal. Big shout out to Vishal Kumar, MD. But it's just an amazing effort of so many different people to secure this location, secure the business, secure the licenses, push through the. I mean, we did this pretty quickly.
Fast.
And that has a lot to do again with like me and Sam. Like, what was hilarious is like we had demo work done in here, but like Sam, my builder, and I like demoed Trattoria Vittoria. Like there was like, you know, pens and liquor and like all this stuff out still, and Sam and I put it all away. Like we just emptied the space, and like that. It's just kind of crazy once you're in a space and you like it hits you for a second like the overwhelming feeling of oh my god, there's so much to do. But once you start chipping away, like the whole idea of like every day we chip away, that's what it feels like again too when we open, you know, this place and like we're building systems and getting locked in and getting in rhythm. But it's like this is actually what all three of us are really good at. Like Raj is like the most humble dude ever because he's like, oh, I come from a boring background, this and that. It's like this guy's built for hospitality, bro.
Yeah,
like he's out on the floor like freaking channeling Pasquale, channeling all these like, you know,
The
old
energy's
managers. The energy is in this
The energy's in this
space.
space,
We
yeah.
kept the original bar because we knew people wanted to sit at this bar. It's like this big piece of marble that was pulled out of a church, and it's just epic and like just made it nice, you know, like it had been worn down, and we built a whole design around it, like because we know that people walking in expected us to keep a piece of this history. So Oliver Freeze, big ups to that guy.
Yep.
He's gonna find us something else down the road, and he's always still checking in with us. So he's the guy. You know, if you need real estate done, Oliver Freeze,
your
baby.
Oliver Freeze,
Yeah.
Paloma Realty Partners.
Yeah.
Fantastic people.
Paloma, baby.
Yeah.
Not a sponsor of the LA Food Podcast yet, but happy to give him a shout out. Guys, you see all this going on down here in Santa Barbara from your perch up in Oregon. Are you thinking they're insane, or are you like, I can't wait to get involved?
Oh yeah, I've known Dom for a while, so I know he's insane. I don't have to think about it.
Let's
but
go.
yeah, he always gets things done, and he thrives on momentum, and that's something that we all need, and we're all kind of, you know, doing what we can to make this vision happen. And I think we did a pretty good job. And I think it's as far as I can tell what he wanted out of this space and out of the cocktail program and the food and everything. It's just we're just working out the kinks now, but it's a pretty astounding amount of turnover for how quickly we're getting the systems to work. So yeah, I think so. I think he's insane, but I think it's in the best way possible. And for this industry, it's kind of necessary. So
Yeah, you need a little crazy.
I learned how to be insane from his older brother.
yeah,
Like working in Portland in his brother's bar, wearing a lot of different hats, working in a small team with high output. These things are all very important to the longevity of a restaurant. And just a big shout out to Jacob Carey, who actually we have a drink named after on the bar. What
we
is
do.
it?
Yeah, the Idiodola.
Idiodola, which
Yeah.
means ox blood. It's like his.
It's a deep cut. But
Yeah,
he'll
it's
get it.
it's his his Instagram handle, so it's like
Okay.
funny.
Yeah.
But it's just like he's a musician, he's a character, but he's like a great businessman. He's like a very I just like I saw him and was like he's all about momentum too. He's all about like crazy energy, the leadership of like, hey, I'm gonna do. You know what I mean? I'll do every day. I'll be even keeled about doing. And I think that that's something that I obviously learned from him, but I learned like it's inspiring to you don't know who's going to inspire you and drive you. There's a lot of people involved in my life that have like shown me the way, but I'm just talking about like the longevity. It's like Dig-A-Pony was open for how long?
10-ish years.
10 years. I
11
remember
years.
the opening,
Yeah.
and it was like similar to this, just like chocker block full. They're working out the kinks, like, but it was like pretty impressive because some nights it's like one cook, two bar backs, 3 bartenders, and 2 security, and just putting up like selling $4 or $5 wells, but still putting up like thousands of dollars. Back in the days of glory days of Portland, and like us starting again, like reinvigorating a section of that city that needed the emphasis of like hey, this is the old Southeast industrial area. We're here now. And then all of a sudden you see everything explode around there. So like Kochka opened, all these places that are still going are almost like a byproduct of Digapony opening and just making that area like fun and lively. And I don't know about safe, but
safer. Maybe.
But just like that's what we're doing here because like this was just like it just got old and tired, and we just lightened it up, reinvigorated it, put love, effort into it, and the community. We face the Riviera. Like this restaurant is the restaurant for the people of Santa Barbara that live up in the hills. It's not necessarily for tourists at all. We're not on the beaten track.
You're not facing the ocean. You're facing the other way.
Exactly. We're facing the community. So I think that's the most important part is like every day I'm coming in and I'm like trying to meet. What's crazy is you also meet like the owners of horses are coming in here. The lights. And I'm like, they just love it. And I'm like, because you get it. You're a hospitality person, but they live here. So I'm like, this restaurant's for you.
The owner of horses live in Santa Barbara?
I think so,
I didn't, crazy.
They're around.
Interesting. Well, okay, let's talk about the food a little bit, right? So you've mentioned it already, Basque, and I feel like, last time we spoke last year, it was really clear, Dom, that was like your passion. That was the type of food you gravitate towards. Obviously, Sasso, we all remember that beautiful restaurant in Pasadena Playhouse Courtyard where, Basque food was being made in extremely high qualities, getting rave reviews.
We allowed any religion to come eat there.
So that is a deep cut reference to a story that I told on the last interview, which you're going to have to look up. But we're back at it. We're back, and it seems to be a food that connects with all of you in some way, shape, or form. So we've heard Dom's connection to it. What is y'all's connection to?
Okay, well, I kind of fell in love with Spanish food, generally speaking, just the philosophy of how there's so much inventiveness that goes into it, so much care about the ingredients and sourcing and getting the perfect thing to start with and then building off of it, but keeping the core signature of what that ingredient is cohesive and whole. And I think that concept's really beautiful. So, I mean, not to go off on a tangent, but again, the credit to my wife, she dragged me out to Barcelona when I was in the throes of working in the healthcare world and really not paying attention to my heart as much. And she says, go check out the city and we'll go and to take a vacation. And that sort of sent me down this spiral of, wow, what am I missing here in my life? How has this been here and so accessible and me, ignoring it all along? So I met my other partner, Alex Cardona, in Barcelona about, 14 years ago. He was one of the original guides who helped out many shows, including No Reservations and that sort of thing. He's a journalist who became a food tour guide. I took a tour with him just because of that and realized that this guy is as soulful and genuine as anyone I'd ever met who I love in my life. And I went, this guy's another brother. I gotta be friends with him. I gotta make him part of my family. And that's what we ended up doing. Set up shop in Barcelona, tried to figure out how to be in the food world somehow. And for me, it was really like, since I live here and I have my kids and my family here, I wanted to bring all that food over here. So I started an import company and went, geez, let's just try and bring all this food over. So over the pandemic, an opportunity popped up where we could invest in a truffle farm. And we did that and decided, hey, let's get some really nice Catalan black Perigords over. And this guy over here, Dom, ended up being my first customer and helped me launch my company. That's awesome.
No way.
So just real quick, we do 3 menus on when Raj and I have decided to work together. We're doing 3 menus, which is the spring menu, the summer menu, and the truffle menu. we don't mess with winter or fall because it is truffle.
Truffle season is November 15th through to March 15th in Catalonia, and they're incredible. So that's what we'll lean heavily into. But it was really this is a culmination of all those little things happening in sequence. And launching at Sasso and then realizing, when I launched at Sasso, I fell in love with the courtyard. You go, and this is a little piece of Europe, and this man, I don't know who he is, but he's making food that makes me happy, just like in Barcelona. So I fell in love with him and his cooking first.
So
before
you
him.
went there, you
Yeah.
went to Sasso never knowing who
No.
Dom was,
No.
and then just being like, I love this food, let
Yeah.
me figure out who's making it.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
cool.
that's it. Yeah. And then we got to know each other and went, geez, we care for people exactly in the same way, and that's really what connected us.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Wasn't
because
the
like
food.
you care for the people that get you food. Like I'm literally texting with 805 fisherman right now. This guy David.
Yeah.
And you have a relationship with somebody, they're gonna do anything for you.
Yeah.
And vice versa.
Yeah.
You know, he comes and eats here too, and he's almost like Raj, where he's just like he gets it. He's like, oh, you're doing really good stuff with the food.
Yeah.
It's not complicated.
Yeah.
But you're treating it appropriately, and I think like Raj and I are ingredient nerds.
Yeah.
And like that's how we bond. It's like we, you know, and Ben too. Like
Yeah.
Ben is like very much like excited about cool new things that we're presenting to him, and you just have this vision and like your ethos is almost like a child.
Yeah.
When you walk into like these situations where you're like learn, absorb, latch onto things, and yeah, we're definitely in a restaurant right now. And like and just also like be comfortable with like you know, committing to an ingredient and just being like, this is my favorite.
Yeah.
You know, and like this is what I want to feature. This is what I love. And talking to guests about it, and like also just like consistency of ingredients is so difficult to pull off.
Yeah.
So I just know that from working with Raj, like just his little truffle farm and his truffles have just been so epic and consistent, and then everything else that he pulls in is just like constantly one-upping the next thing. Like, you know, this fish sauce, like you have to talk about it. Like it's just the garum.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What
You
was-
like this because it's Italian.
And we had that in dish the other night.
Yeah.
Was it the flatbread?
The flatbread. Well, there's a little garum in like the preparation. There's a little garum in everything, baby. But there's a little. That's crazy because there's two now that we have in house, which is the fish garum, and then also the shiitake mushroom garum, which is just insanely like ad hoc and special. But I kind of want Raj to explain it because it's not just like, oh, cool sauce, bro. It's like the story behind it and finding it. It's like how I've approached oysters, where I'm like, I've read through a book and been like, oh, this black magic oyster from British Columbia, this looks really amazing. It looks very coveted and special. I'm gonna find who sells it. I'm gonna call them and ask them if I can get them. And I've had this experience before where it's like, it's been impossible to get them because of our relationships with different countries, you know, and things like that. And like you get roadblocks, but then you also just end up finding stuff that's local and looking inward, which is extremely Basque. To look inward and around you for what you need.
That's it. Yeah, I mean, the story with the garum is kind of a continuation of trying to find great ingredients. And when I started Tornix Gourmet, garum is one of those central umami bomb tenets that a lot of chefs in Spain build off of, and they use it for flavoring and punching up flavors and, you know, all that sort of thing. And garum is this ancient Roman fish sauce, right? You take a bunch of anchovies from the Mediterranean, you get the salt from the Mediterranean, you stick it in a concrete vat, let it ferment, let the sun do its job, and over the course of several months you'll end up with, you know, what turns out to be the most incredible, flavorful, chocolatey, salty umami bomb that you'll ever get. And I made it a mission to try to get some Spanish garum in, but then I ran headfirst into this brick wall called the FDA, and it was just not working at all. And so, you know, kind of like we got the fish here. We ended up bringing some anchovies, and they're phenomenal, but the garums were an issue. So when we were building the plan for this restaurant, the idea was always to use some kind of a fish sauce, but I didn't know where that would take me until I ran into this gentleman named Stephen Prayer out of Third Coast Superior, out of Minnesota. And Stephen and his team make incredible Lake Superior herring-based garum.
Wow.
So they're harvesting herring, which is a regenerative biomass. Anchovy stocks are getting hammered all over the world, so, you know, it's kind of like not really a very sustainable way to create fish
Anchovies?
sauce.
So you're telling me my tin fish board is ruining the environment?
I mean, yeah.
Wow.
We have, as humans, we have a tendency to go hard on everything that we find that's delicious, so we're doing that now.
Right? Like, even sushi, it's like a million sushi restaurants, like, that's going to deplete the certain, you know, wild catches, because everyone's like, oh, I only eat wild seafood. It's like, cool, well, there's not an indefinite amount of that.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, so.
Yeah, so I got in touch with Stephen, and he's doing this out of Minnesota, where he's getting herring from Lake Superior, using that as a baseline biomass, and then getting salt from Oregon. So completely an American
Is
made.
it by chance Jacobson?
It is in fact, I think.
Oh, golly.
Full circle.
Jacobson salt.
We know that guy.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
got it.
So I mean, shout out to back to the Oregon roots over here.
Let's
So,
bring
you
it
know,
all the way back.
Yeah.
salt from Oregon, fish from Lake Superior,
Salt of the earth,
between the border of Canada and U.S. And I am,
You're Canadian.
I'm Canadian American, both. And the sauce is incredible. It's a clean fish. He uses this desanguination process, a French process, to get all the blood out of the fish before he grinds it up and turns it into garum. And it is this incredible sauce that is a liquor that punches up our steaks, our whole fish Basques. We're using it in the same manner as the Basques use their garums they make there.
Yeah. And they make it. I mean, these guys are like wild.
Yeah.
Like big shout out to Ultramarinos in Barcelona.
Borja,
My God,
friend.
this guy is he's a machine who just makes his own garum, makes his own piparas, which are guindia peppers. We've all seen them on every menu now. And every wine bar, there's the new green pepper.
Yeah.
You know, the Basque pepper. Like, this guy's pickling his own stuff. He's also operating a restaurant just like mine with like a huge, live fire operation. Like, it's just like.
Yeah. And he came out of Echevarri, so he's
an Echevarri alum. So it's just
people. Yeah.
But it's just we have to get inspired by this.
Yes.
Because it's just there's stuff that we can't do in house, that we don't know how to do in house.
Yeah.
But for damn sure, we're gonna find something locally, something sustainable, right?
Yeah.
Like as much sustainable stuff as we can get. Like right now, it's just like the amount of Santa Barbara fish we're selling. Like since we've opened, we've had a local Pacific caught fresh fish on our menu the entire time.
Yeah.
That's rotated between halibut, rockfish, local bluefin that are actually smaller, that some fishermen don't even mess with. So it's just using and getting the money back in the community too. So it's just very, very special.
Ben, how do you go about creating a beverage program that stands up to all this, or you know what I mean, that kind of like matches this level of passion and frankly insanity?
Well, just these nerds are hard to compete with, frankly, and it's fine because I'm pretty nerdy about some stuff too. I think a lot of the cocktail menu we have here is just really clean, really light, really easy to drink, fun. I know those are all cliche things to say about drinks, but a lot of inside jokes and kind of things that I've taken out of my personal life and our relationship that are references to things that are, I don't know how much time you have, but very deep cuts. But just approaching it in a very fun, friendly way and making it easy for the rest of the bar staff to execute in a way that makes everybody kind of relax and focus on the people and the service.
Yeah.
I know those are all very broad answers, but that's kind of that was my mindset going into it.
Good philosophical answer. Raj had to step away for a call, but one thing that really stuck with us from our dinner the other night was the usage of the Laie.
Yes.
And there's a bit of a personal connection there.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
So like the Laie is named after the Laetian people of Catalonia.
Yeah.
This is a partnership between him and Alex to produce this vermouth. The vermouth has been extremely successful. Drinking vermouth is now trending, as in I don't know what it would be compared to, but I would say not like Fernet, because Fernet was more of like an industry chain.
It's almost like Aperol 5 years ago.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
And we are all about that, because now we have Laie Red, which is what we promote, but now he's rolling out a rosé, which is just going to be like lights out, and even better thing to sell in this sunny state. And he's actually really excited because he plugged in with the Chase Center up in
San Francisco.
Yeah, so he's locked in. He's locked and loaded. Laie is a huge backbone of this business, and Raj and I are restaurateurs, and Ben is also he understands the business aspect of this stuff, where everything has to be approachable.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, it also has to be make us money.
Yes.
And I think that's really exciting, because vermouth is a low ABV, great sessionable drink that is divine. I mean, it's just it goes with so much things. It cools off the saltiness of some of these dishes that we have. It also just like is such a refresher, and then really excited to start like using it for vermouth. It's almost like a finisher as well.
Yeah.
Or sorry, use it for our desserts. I'm sorry about that.
Right.
Yeah, we've made like a shatter with it before, like a some kind of like sugar candy type thing, and it's just like it's crazy. We're even using these truffles in a Basque cheesecake coming up. That's just out of
God,
control.
that's gonna be insane.
Yeah, because these truffles, the truffles and like these things that he does, it's like it just makes sense. Like the truffles they smell like ice cream, like you said when you smell them.
The other night, he opened a tin of or a plastic container of truffles, and I was like, that smells just like really good gelato.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's what it is. It's like sweet and earthy. It's not the typical flavor profile that you think. And like we've just been ingrained that like vermouth only goes in martinis.
Right. Yeah.
And like Martini Rosso is like the weirdest, dustiest bottle on the shelf that you see in a bar. And it's like we are proud to change people's minds and have them try things they've never tried, and then all of a sudden becomes their favorite thing.
Yeah, like Raj just poured us a literal like glass of vermouth on the rocks with an orange and an olive in it.
Yeah, I mean it's the simplicity I think is inherent to the Basque flavor profile and philosophy. So that too, it's also something that's been going on for hundreds of years in that region where you're just drinking vermouth, and that's kind of its thing. So it is nice just to bring and get a little taste of that history, and it is. People are catching on that it's a well use of time and money to like go and check that stuff out. So it's simple, it's delicious, you don't need much to
it's Basque.
It's Basque.
It's Basque.
Yeah.
It's simple, it's delicious, Basque. That is the tagline of Jobs. Well, speaking of the food, we had a fantastic meal here the other night, and one thing that really stuck with us was how affordable everything was.
Yeah.
Like, my wife and I just couldn't get it over our heads that the steak frite, the chuleta and fries, it was $29, $28 like that. And we were like, in LA, we would have easily paid $42 for this. Not to mention, like, that's just kind of across the board.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't want, without divulging all of your secrets. How are you able to keep things so affordable and make
it's
money?
Not a secret, guys. Like, again, with Basque food, just be a little bit more willing to source better, because I use a small purveyor that all my other purveyors keep trying to get me off of with these other whack SKUs, and I'm slowly getting on the Flannery train, which is a Holstein cow out of California here, woman-owned and operated, great establishment. They do dry age program, but I'm telling you, this Wagyu that I'm getting from Australia, I've been on it for years now.
Yeah.
And it's a small company that imports it, and it's not West Home, and I'm sorry, but it's elite.
Yeah.
And like they give me a great price. I get my sustainable trout roe from the same company. I get my Olson's sea salt, which is another phenomenal company. I'm trying to be as local as possible, but some stuff from other countries, I'm sorry, it's just better.
Yeah.
And so, great sea salt, great steak out of Australia, great sustainable trout roe from one country, or from one company as well. I'm going to use it, and I'm going to keep using it. And they keep burning me on SKUs too, and I still keep going back to them. Like, I was on Ranchera steak for a long time, and I really wanted to use that here because it's like, honestly, would blow you away.
Yeah.
Like, it's it's called flap, but it's like just was such a good high yield steak, and that's what you want as a chef, is you get the product in. It's a good product, so it stays in your, it sustains in your fridges for a while, but also it's like fresh. And it's not a lot of meat that you get in the U.S. that's even packaged and cut in the U.S. is kind of old.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's funny when we're getting this Australian stuff in, it's like they just have another level of packaging and like export that you're just getting really fresh, great product. And they're a small country, so they're exporting a lot of their stuff.
Yeah.
And so even with the tariffs and stuff, they're still staying really competitive. And so that's an Angus strip loin. It's called Gold brand from Kirwi. That's just like, it's insane. We get a bone in sometimes, so we cut the bone out of that and use the bone to make demi-glace. And it's just like, I'm sorry, it's elite.
So it's basically, you got to be like fanatical about every ingredient.
Yeah.
And it sounds like relationships are a big piece of it.
Yeah.
It's like knowing the suppliers, knowing the companies, taking that time to do the research. Like and it sounds like, not being too dogmatic about saying super local or only finding the best things out there in the world.
Yeah.
It's like kind of a hybrid model.
It's like I use my wife as a soundboard a lot, and also as like my biggest critic and feedback in regards to my menu, because she's actually at the end of the day, she loves sushi and stuff, but she's like a meat and potatoes type gal.
Yeah.
And she'll tell me, she's like, I like that steak that you're trying to use, but the other one's better.
Yeah.
And like, she's like a customer, and I really like that, because I want to give the customers the best flavor at the best reliable, consistent price margin, because again, we are a restaurant of the people. We're not trying to price anyone out. We want to be that steak frites place. We want to be that whole fish place, or that lunch spot, or that late night, freezer martini and a smash burger place, because why not? We have it. If you build it, they will come kind of situation. So let's just like embrace the fact that we're all aligned here at this table about making sure, we make money, but also that like we are dependable and consistent in our price point, in our offering, because that's the thing in LA. I have been, and you know this too. Sure, $42 for a steak. Was it that good?
No. I mean, yeah, it's 42 for the good ones, but it's also 42 for the shitty ones.
Mm-hmm.
Gotcha.
So you gotta know where to go. You just kind of know you're gonna be paying that much no matter where you go.
Yeah.
Essentially. So, yeah. Raj is back at the table.
Yeah.
We've
Raj is
already
back with a big smile on my face. I think he knows what happened.
all right. Exciting news. Sounds like you've only
somebody got their foot broken off in their ass. It sounds like, and it's Raj's foot.
We'll table that discussion. We'll table it. Yeah.
Well, speaking of exciting news, it's been 2 weeks since you opened, and you guys were shockers, absolutely so full the other night when I was here. I hear it's been pretty consistent over the last couple weeks.
Yeah.
I mean,
Thank you, Santa Barbara.
Yeah.
Grateful.
I was gonna say, does that tell the whole story? How's the reception been?
Incredible, and it's shocking. Like, as you've done this a couple of times. For me, first time restaurateur, you hear everyone telling you the stories, right?
Yeah.
It starts with "Don't do this," and restaurants fail at the highest, blah 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 blah. And I'm going
60% 1 year, 80% 2 years. Yeah.
Right, and I'm going, oh my gosh. So I was, having insomnia leading up to the opening, thinking that we'd be open and nobody be in
Like
there.
you just flip the sign and then just like crickets.
Right. It's the complete opposite. The community's come out so hard to support us. It's amazing. And I think we should have, we did pick up on the signs. As Dom and I were building this joint, people would keep popping in and telling us over and over how many memories they've had in the space.
Yeah.
And I don't think it was as real until it opened, or at least perhaps we were running at, breakneck speed, so it didn't land the same. But now you see people come in and going, this is where I did this anniversary. This is where, geez, somebody proposed to their wife, their now fiance, on the second week we were open, and I'm going.
So this week?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Like no warning, just felt comfortable. Bam.
Just got down on one knee in front of everybody, in front of God and Dom and the entire
It's
world.
the space. It's
Wow.
conducive to that, and I think that's like, let's respect that, and the community is telling us we want you guys to succeed and keep feeding us and continue the legacy of 40 years of this being a restaurant space.
Yeah.
So
Wow.
that's beautiful.
And like me, I'm like, as the chef owner, it's like I've dealt with this before. Everyone's like, don't read Yelp reviews, don't respond to Yelp reviews. I responded, and it's cool because I had
What was the Yelp review?
Well, it's great. I'll get to that. But I had a mentor before, Bob Lynn, who he opened Houston's. He was LGO, Ingo Stacy Diner. He's a wild cat. I love him, but it's really the truth that there are nuggets in Yelp reviews that do lead you to success. They allow you to be better. They allow your hands to be a little bit more refined and consistent to make sure all diners can eat in a restaurant. But I had a really funny 1-star that was like all about some food that they ate here, and I just looked at it and sat on it for a minute, and I responded to the guy after like seeing it and then also looking at his other reviews, and I said, hey man, like, people would take you more seriously if you said something nice about restaurants from time to time.
Yeah.
Because he had only left negative reviews. And I said, a restaurant's a full package deal of not just food. And that's what I did, is I tried to be a little bit less emotional about it and see it like, hey, you didn't say anything about the service. You didn't say anything about the space and how it made you felt. You just lit the food up, and even one of your dishes got comped. We know that for a fact because he didn't, like the flavor profile, which we've now improved. And so being less emotional about it and seeing it as like, yes, there's truth in all of it.
Yeah.
But I responded to him in a very like sweet and salty, and also like, hey, come say it to my face, also at the end of it, and he took it down.
No way.
Yeah, and so I think that standing up for yourself as a restaurateur, standing up for your team,
Standing on business, as the kids say?
Standing on business off the rip.
No cap.
No cap. It's so cringe. But anyway, doing that is important.
Yeah.
And also, we're going to be here for a long time. So we're not going anywhere, and we're going to keep getting better for the people.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's awesome. Fantastic
Ben,
ethos.
can you one that up?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
The cocktails are good. Come visit Dom's Taverna for dinner, lunch, or happy hour.
Guys,
I don't know.
It's called Bar Bites,
Bar
Ben.
Bites, my
I
bad.
keep telling you, don't cheapen the brand.
that's the year for the people. Man.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Bar bites, people want bar bites.
Bar bites,
yeah.
Guys, I just want to say, obviously just started, but it feels like it's already lived in. It's already got so much soul and spirit, and it feels like a community gathering spot already.
Yeah.
That we haven't even really talked about the food. And guys, in case it's not obvious, the food is fucking fantastic.
Yeah.
Like our favorite dishes, that flatbread, that mussel flatbread,
Smoked shell flatbread.
Smoke was incredible. The chuleta and fries, my wife has already said it's her favorite steak frite on the planet.
Awesome.
The
my
jamon iberico was lights out.
Yeah.
Just the vermouth on the rocks was not. The Laie vermouth on the rocks
Yeah.
was lights out. We just loved everything. Basque cheesecake, don't even get me started.
Dude, that's our sous chef's grandfather's recipe, grappa.
Yeah.
His name is Grappa.
Wow.
And he apparently has some affiliation with Jacques Papin. And so that's the thing, is when someone in your team says something like that and they're like, I have a recipe, I urge all chefs to listen and to allow your team to flourish, because that guy, when he makes Basque cheesecakes, he takes so much pride. And he had our menu signed by all of us and took it to his grandfather, and he wept.
Oh, that's so cute.
That's so cool.
That's a great lesson, and Dom's really good at that. We spoke about this, but you did it at the Lonely Oyster. I'm sure you've done it everywhere you worked, and it's cool to see you do it here, man. And congrats to all of you. We're super excited for
you very much.
your success in the starting weeks, and we hope long may it continue.
Yes. Are you ready for a smash burger?
I was hoping you'd forget. Gentlemen, thank you for joining the podcast.
Thank you, Luke.
Thank you, Luca.
Thank you.
Thanks for listening to another episode of the LA Food Podcast. Thanks to Visit Santa Barbara and Catalyst PR for organizing this trip for us. Thanks to Dominique Crisp, Raj Nallapothola, and Ben Carey for sitting down and having a great conversation with us. And of course, thank you to my wife for once again taking the journey and recording this podcast with me. If you like what you heard here today, dear listener, please go to wherever you listen to podcasts, leave us a rating, a review, subscribe. Seriously, all that stuff really means the world to us, and it helps us get our podcast to more enthusiastic food lovers like yourself. We'll be back next week with another epic episode, but if you're looking for me in the meantime, you can find me on TikTok, Instagram, Threads, and YouTube at the LA Countdown. That's TheLaCountdown. You can also find us on Instagram at It's Acquired Taste and at acquiredtastemedia.com.